Live from Franklin Community High School, it's Indiana High School football as the 1-5 Plainfield High School Quakers are set to take on Mid-State Conference opponent 2-4 Franklin Community High School. They're the Grizzly Cubs. Good evening, I'm JP Sinclair, along with Lex Zorn, and this is the AudioSportsOnline.com pregame show. Thank you for listening to Plainfield Varsity Football, powered by AudioSportsOnline.com. This broadcast is brought to you by the Hendricks County Flyer, Rhodes and Kinley LLP, Copyco Office Solutions, American Family Insurance, Duck Hawk Agency, Inc., Wicker Construction, Julia Burbridge of Remax Centerstone, the Niagara Bottling Company, the Beacon Sign Company, Three Pines Brew Club, Carey Digital, Jimmy John's, Dugan Chevrolet, Dugan Sports Performance, and the Coachman Restaurant and Lounge, BMO Harris, and the Payroll Department. Well, Leck, last game out for Plainfield High School was a loss against Decatur Central at home. The final score in that one was 59-21, but there were some nice things to take away from that game despite the offsided score. While the defense couldn't really slow down that vaulted Decatur Central offense, the Quakers were able to get their offense going somewhat, scoring 21 points, a nice increase from their 11 points per game going into that one.
Yeah, especially in the second half, they really started to get things going, especially with Dylan Foster with that sensational 70-yard touchdown rush down the right side, in which he just broke through everybody, bounced off defenders, and hardly looked like a guy who was playing only the fourth varsity game of his career. And not only that, but Jacob Maple continued to show signs that he's back at least close to 100% with that 70-yard touchdown reception in the first half. So the last two games he has touchdown receptions of 69 and 70 yards. And, you know, Coach Brian Woodard said on his show this Monday that Decatur Central changed their defense for the first time all the years. They had done a 4-6 defense, and Decatur Central and Plainfield just wasn't prepared for it, and really didn't adapt until it was until they were way deep in a hole.
Yeah, speaking of that Brian Woodard show, you can check out the archive podcast of the Brian Woodard show every week on AudioSportsOnline.net under the Plainfield tab. Coach said following the Decatur Central game that the Hawks were who we thought they were, meaning that they were tough to stop offensively, and they played as you said, a good 4-6 defense against Plainfield, which really threw his Quaker offense for a loop, as they really weren't expecting that at all. Coach really wants his team to understand the concept of what they're trying to get done offensively going into this one.
Yeah, and I think he made a great point about that. He said that he wants them to learn the concept. That's the word you mentioned, and that's the word he used also. He wants them to do that rather than just learning a bunch of rules, which he said is what they've been doing, and that's why it was so hard for them to adapt when Decatur Central showed up doing something different than they had done all season.
Plainfield is trying to find some momentum here late in the season with only a few more games to go prior to sectionals. Thus far, both Plainfield and Franklin Community are 0-3 in the conference. Offensive struggles continue to be the main proponent during the course of the season for this Plainfield Quaker team. As to what's hampering them, injuries have played a big part all year long, but the lack of offense has not helped their cause at all.
No, it hasn't. I mean, they've had, at least 8 starters miss some games this year with injuries, including, wide receiver. I mean, Garrett Patton, their main wide receiver from last year. Their leading returning wide receiver from last year is out. Jacob Maple, their leading rusher from last year, now a junior, has missed a big chunk of the season. It only started to get back on track the last couple of games. And so they've just had to make so many adjustments and play a lot of young guys who they weren't planning on playing a lot of varsity minutes this year. But I think that will end up paying dividends down the stretch. And tonight, we begin the last third of the regular season. We're already up to week 7, amazingly. And these two teams both are coming into this game on 4-game losing streaks, trying to get some momentum going for the playoffs. But like I said, if these guys get healthy and some of the young guys continue to improve, especially if Plainfield gets a good draw, I do not count out them, winning, a couple of tournament games.
This Grizzly Cub team gives up the most points per game in the entire Mid-State Conference. The Quakers coming into this one ranked 141 in the state. They're They were young to begin with this year, but only with a few seasons on either side of the ball that were seniors. But injuries on top of that have really forced the youth of this team to really see a lot more game time on this roster than I'm sure Coach Woodard would have liked. A large part of those injuries have been in the backfield. As we talked about, Jacob Maple was hampered early on in the season. John Finch went down against Ron Colley and hasn't really been seen since. And there have also been a few others. And some players like Coy Anderson and surprising upstart in Dylan Foster have been a nice addition to this rushing attack. But as we talked also with Coach Woodard about, he really likes what Coy Anderson brings in the return game and defensively instead of in the backfield.
Yeah, Coy Anderson, he's played sporadically. He's rushed reasonably well, 30 carries, 90 yards, and even 3 a carry. But Dylan Foster, on the other hand, believe it or not, he was a guy 3 weeks ago, everybody in the press box, including us, was shouting, who's number 28? Well, now there aren't a lot of people shouting that anymore. Dylan Foster now leads this team in rushing yards per attempt. He has 24 carries, 179 yards, and a touchdown, 7.5 yards a carry.
Well, head coach Woodard is entering his 9th year at the helm of Plainfield. He has a combined record of 56-40. Let's go and take a quick look at this Franklin Grizzly Tub team. They'll rarely throw the ball, and they'll rely on a strong rushing attack. They run a veer option in a wishbone formation. Coach Woodard said that the Quakers will have to do a good job on their defensive assignments and then gap coverage.
Yeah, and you weren't kidding when you say that they rarely pass. Their rushing-passing ratio is 5.9 to 1. Franklin's is. By contrast, Plainfield's is 2.4 to 1. So, for this season, for example, starting quarterback T.J. Ollefeld has thrown only 49 passes, no touchdown passes.
Along with a few interceptions.
4 interceptions, that's correct, 15 of 49. But on the other hand, senior running back Jacob Stevenson is having an extraordinary season. He's rushed 139 yards for 1,073 yards and 18 touchdowns, only 1 fumble, 7.7 yards a carry. And as if that's not enough, 3 other Grizzly Cubs are averaging at least 9 yards a carry. Ryan Torrance is 38 for 454. That's 11.9 a carry. Then Chad Williams, 20 for 180 and even 9 a carry. And Phoenix Campos, 13 for 127. That's 9.8 a carry. And on the ground, the Grizzly Cubs have scored 29 of their 31 touchdowns on the season.
Well, let's go ahead and take a second to thank some of our sponsors. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups as well as the weather. And Lek might tell us some of the keys to tonight's game. You're listening to AudioSportsOnline.com, coverage of Plainfield varsity football. Thanks to our friends at the Hendricks County Flyer that helped make tonight's video webcast possible. Please check them out online as well as watch tonight's game at flyergroup.com.
Motion 360 by Hendricks Regional Health provides care for the way you were meant to move. We care for every muscle, bone, and joint in your body to get you back to the activities you love. Get more information online at mymotion360.org. That's mymotion360.org.
Established in 1882 as Harris Bank and owned by BMO Financial Group since 1984, BMO Harris Bank has grown to become one of the largest banks in the Midwest, serving personal, commercial, and affluent customers. They're located in Plainfield at 2609 East Main. For more information, call them at 839-3501.
Rhodes and Kinsley LLP are CPAs and financial advisors. In business since 1990, they handle individual and business tax and accounting work. Located at 8315, that's 8315 West 10th Street in Indianapolis. You can call 271-1040, that's 271-1040, to set up an appointment.
Welcome back to Franklin Community High School. Matchup featuring the Grizzly Cubs of Franklin Community versus Plainfield in a varsity football matchup. Let's go and talk a little bit about the weather here tonight, Lek. It's 55 degrees, close to 55 right now as we get set for kickoff with partly cloudy skies and winds out of the west, possibly with gusts up to 14 miles per hour. That should play something in the kicking game, not to mention the fact that temperatures will dip into the mid-40s tonight and showers could possibly be in the forecast as well.
Yeah, certainly it's starting to feel like autumn weather, and hopefully it will not hamper the attendance tonight, as is often the case when we start to get cold weather, in the latter part of the regular season. But that being that these are two rushing dominated teams, especially Franklin, I don't think that'll have a huge effect on the way that this game is played. But we'll see. And it is starting to we're starting to get a lot of clouds in the sky, and hopefully the rain will hold off. Fortunately, they do have an artificial surface here, so at least it won't turn into a mud fest if the rain starts to fall.
Okay, well, as we get set for the anthem and also the coin flip, we'll hold off on the starters and talk a little bit more about this matchup. The thing that really surprised me when I was looking into this Franklin Community team, this is one of my favorite teams that I saw last year. I got to see them twice, once against Decatur Central, once against this Plainfield team, and they just really impressed me. Like last year, they were really young under a first-year head coach. This year, they got more experience, and they have a second-year head coach. But that rushing attack is what gets the job done for them.
It sure is, yeah. And, this is a program that has not been very strong in recent years. They have not had a winning season since 1996. Last year, the first year under Coach Reese, they did go 5-5. And, obviously, you always hope that you're going to improve in week 2. They started off the season red hot. They went down to Seymour in week 1, completely destroyed the Owls 61-7. Then they came back here in their home opener, had a very solid win against Shelbyville, 49-21. But since then, they've gone 0-4, just like Plainfield's lost their last 4. And in the case of Franklin, they've never been shut down. They've scored at least 21 points every game, but their defense has been shaky. And so a big challenge for Plainfield tonight will be to get a couple of big plays on offense. And they have made a few big plays this year. Like we mentioned, the last 3 games they have at least 3 touchdowns of 69 yards or more.
Yeah, you mentioned that offensive production for them. They are averaging close to 36 points per game, but as you said, defensively giving up 32 points per game, almost similar to what we saw Plainfield do last year.
Yeah, so this is not one of the best defenses that Plainfield has played this season. On the other hand, last week, like we were talking about, one problem that Plainfield had is that Decatur Central had so many rushing weapons. In most of their past opponents, there's only been 1 or 2, running backs who got a lot of carries, and Plainfield was able to clamp down and keep, their opponents from gaining a ton of yards on the ground. But last week with Decatur Central having so many weapons, that's something that Plainfield wasn't able to counter, and that could be a problem tonight as well, with Franklin having, like I said, not only do you have the sensational Jacob Stevenson, but you have 3 other guys who are getting at least 9 yards a carry.
Yeah, you talked about Jacob Stevenson's been a beast, 139 rushes for over 1,000 yards, an 8-yard average, 18 touchdowns on the year, and only 1 fumble. And then, conversely, they also have Ryan Torrance in the backfield, 38 rushes for 454 yards, and then Chad Williams, 20 rushes for 108 yards. Each and every single one of those has at least an 8-yard average.
Yeah, and so... And another factor to remember, when you got the wishbone, which is, for those of you who are younger and don't remember when it used to be a staple for Southern college teams such as Oklahoma and Texas, what it means is you got 3 running backs lined up behind the quarterback in the shape of a wishbone, hence the name. And, there are so many options. And one thing that it's not terribly uncommon to see, although Franklin hasn't utilized this, but one thing you often see in wishbone offenses is running backs throw passes. So it's just so unpredictable, and that is going to be a huge challenge, and to defend. And you can bet that that Coach Woodard and staff have been devoting a lot of time to game tape, trying to figure out a way to slow down this spectacular rushing offense of the Grizzly Cubs.
Well, Plainfield has entered the team there on the opposing side. Good turnout from the crowd on the Plainfield side. I would say about 100, 150 maybe over there on the Plainfield side. Conversely, here on our side with the Grizzly Cubs, despite the cold weather, their stands are pretty full. As we get set for the...
Well, we just had the Grizzly Cubs come out onto the field to a very nice ovation from this crowd. This is actually the 3rd consecutive week that we've had a homecoming game. 2 weeks ago down in Greenwood, that was their homecoming. Then we had our homecoming at Plainfield last week. Tonight it's the Franklin homecoming. So it's great to see we got a good crowd despite the chilly weather. And, hopefully the fans will just stay bundled up and enjoy a great, game. It should get a lot of points put on the board by both teams. And also, I was glad to see on the 10-day forecast the high a week from tonight for Senior Day against Whiteland. We're supposed to get back up to 69, so hopefully we'll get a good crowd there for Tristan Southwood and Morgan Hagee and some of the other seniors as we give them a nice send-off.
Well, I'll take a quick step away for the national anthem. Welcome back to Franklin Community High School for the Grizzly Cubs Plainfield varsity football matchup as the captains make their way out to the field for the coin flip. Let's go ahead and talk about some of the starters, and we'll start with this Franklin Community offense. At the quarterback position will be TJ Olipheld, sophomore, 5'8", 160, very, very small forward quarterback, 15 of 49 throwing the ball on the year for 256 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. Franklin Community won the toss and deferred, so Plainfield will receive to start the game. So, at the split-in formation in this Grizzly Cub offense, Mark Nally will be on the right side, a 6'1", 175 senior. On the other side will be a sophomore, Lane Boris, 5'10", 140. Up front on this offensive line, Zachary Berry, a 5'10", 170 senior. Dylan Bynum is a junior, 6'3", 220. At the center positions, Cole Edwards, 6 foot, 200-pound senior. Andrew Hall will be at the right guard, 190 pounds, 5'6", senior. And then at the right tackle position will be 6'3", 190 senior Tyler Hendricks. We talked about that three-headed monster in the backfield for Franklin Community and Ryan Torrance, Chad Williams, and Jacob Stevenson. For the Franklin Community defense, they'll have Alex Van Dyke, Jake Lamping, Austin Frankel, and Nick Welch up front in their 4-3. Drew Utterback, Zach Dow, and Austin Burnside will be in the linebacker core. And in the secondary will be Phoenix Campos, Damon Munn, Chad Williams, and Alex Blackwell. We'll get to the Plainfield starters here momentarily. Back deep to return.
Looks like I got White and Maple.
For Plainfield, as you said, is Clayton White and Jacob Maple. We saw him return last year. Last game.
Justin Beasley kicking off for Franklin.
Beasley's kick is straight ahead, bounces at close to the 25, picked up by White, and he returns it straight ahead for a big-time gain up ahead to a little short of the 40-yard line.
Well, they're starting off in good field position, which is welcome since the offense has generally struggled, and if they can get a first score here, and that'll be a big momentum-building play because they do not want to start off this game behind. Last week they started off behind 16-0, and then it was, I think, 45-7 before they knew it hit them.
First and 10 on the 37 of Plainfield. Nice wander under center. I formation, 2 receivers either side. Nice wander will hand off to Southwood. He plows his way ahead and continues to stay on his feet up ahead to the 45. Might spot it just shy at the 44.
Well, it's a nice start there by Tristan Southwood. He's really an unheralded hero of this team, and they're giving him credit for 5 there on his first carry of the game.
Up front for Plainfield on that offensive line, senior Alex Ray, 5'11", 240, 5'10", 260, junior Jake Morris, The center position, Jacob Spray, sophomore, 5'11", 260. As Niswander will hand off to Jacob Maple, bounces over to the left side, has a little bit of room to work with, gets past the 50 on the other side of the field and pushed out at close to the Franklin Community 41.
Well, that was a great run there by Jacob Maple. They're giving him credit for, I believe, 14 there. Yes, 14. And, you know, the last couple of games, he's had a couple of big receptions, but he hasn't done much on the ground, so it's good for him to get off to a great start like that on his first carry.
Bunch formation, two receivers to the right. I formation once again for Niswander under center. Niswander will pitch it out to Maple. Maple bounces it over to the right side, has some pressure on him, and he's not going to get much, maybe one on the carry. Connor Kennedy plays that right guard position, 5'11", 230 freshman, and Nolan Russell, the senior, on the right tackle position, 260, 6'3". We talked about Niswander under center. He's a 5'10 junior, 165 pounds. Clayton White and Dante Keys will be the feature wide receivers on either side. White's the junior, 5'11", 140. And then in the backfield, Jacob Maple, the 6'3", 185 junior, as well as we talked about that fullback, Tristan Southwood, 220, 5'10", also a junior. He's the leading carrier for this Quaker team. Niswander under center, this time Spalding the motion man from right to left, two receivers either side. Niswander will hand off to Dylan Foster. Foster breaks through a tackle and up ahead for a gain of 8 before he's finally brought down by the Grizzly Cubs. Tackle made that time by the free safety Damon Munn, 6'2", 180 senior.
Well, what a fine Dylan Foster's been, and, you know, it's hard to believe that 3 weeks ago nobody ever heard of the guy. Now he gets 6 on his first carry of the game, picking up where he left off last week, where he was just sensational.
So it'll be third and call it 3 from Niswander under center. Wide to the right is, I believe, Dante Keys, I formation for Niswander. He'll hand off to Dylan Foster. He gets hit immediately, though, and pushed backwards by this Grizzly Cub defense. Tackle made by a few of the Grizzly Cubs, including Drew Utterback, a 6', 195 senior. He has 41 tackles to his name this year.
So they're marking him down, actually, for looks like they're going to give him a loss of 1 here.
I would not be surprised to see Plainfield go for it right here, given where they're at on the field. Punt's really not going to do anything.
Not really.
And they're too far out of field goal range, even though Hagee has a good leg.
I don't know. I think this would be a 52-yarder. I think that is within Hagee's range, but they are going for it nevertheless. I formation here.
I formation, bunch up front in the jumbo set. Motion man's Bryce Biddle. Niswander will fake the handoff and rolls to his right. Looking downfield, has pressure, avoids it. Great move. And he'll throw it, but throw it away. Niswander did a good job avoiding the tackle in the backfield for the sack and was able to look downfield, but just threw it right out of bounds.
Yeah, and you know the last couple of games, Niswander has had a couple of deep completions. So you know for your first series, you know it wasn't a bad call. It just didn't work out, and they did some good things. They drove the ball downfield, got a couple of first downs, and now we'll see if they can contain this Grizzly Cubs offense.
Hollifield back there calling out the signals. Two receivers to the right, and Nally and Voris. We talked about that wishbone formation, and they'll throw on the first down, and it'll be a completion for a gain of 12 up ahead. The pass went straight to...
So, yeah, Allfield only a 16th pass of the season, already in Game 7. So it's a good start there to Chad Williams. With Chad Williams, one of the team's leading running backs, but he had a 13-yard reception there.
That's his first reception of the year. Allfield once again goes under center. Jumbo formation. Handoff this time goes straight ahead to Jacob Stevenson. He'll get ahead for a gain of, call it 3.
So Jacob Stevenson, the first of what figures to be many carries to him tonight.
For this Plainfield defense, up front in the 3-4, we have Bryce Biddle and Matt Muller, two players we've seen all year long. But Roger Roy gets his first start on the right side, the 6', 315 junior. He had been backing up Bryce Biddle for a good portion of the season. Allfield hands off once again, bouncing it out to the right side, breaking a few tackles is Jacob Stevenson. And they'll be up to about the 39.
Yeah, so that 13-yard reception by Williams opened some doors for Stevenson. Now he has 11 yards on 2 carries.
So that'll be 1st and 10 for the Grizzly Cubs, now in Plainfield territory.
Stevenson averaging 18 carries a game coming into tonight.
This time they fake the handoff and they pitch it out to Torrance. He bounces out to the left side. Had a little bit of room to work with before he's finally pushed out of bounds on the right side by Tyler Maple.
Yeah, Stevenson, I think that's one reason why you have, as they give Torrance credit for 13.
It's really interesting when you watch this Grizzly Cubs offensive line. They're very small up front, but very athletic, and they all go down at the exact same time when they're ready to go.
Well, Stevenson commands so much attention. I think that's why, you have 3 other guys. Hold on.
And off goes to Stevenson once again. Rushes ahead for a gain of 6, maybe 7, before he's all finally said and done.
I was saying Stevenson commands so much attention. I think that's why you have 3 other guys averaging 9 yards a carry, because he opens so many doors for them. So that, because they clamp down on him so much.
2 receivers to the right for the Grizzly Cubs. Olifield once again calls out instructions. And off goes against the Stevenson. He'll plow ahead for a gain of maybe 5, maybe 6 actually.
First down.
But it'll be enough for the first down to the 10.
So Jacob Stevenson, looking like a businessman so far.
He came to work.
Yeah.
Mark Nally as well as Boris on the right side. Olifield once again under center. Wishbone formation. Olifield hands off to Stevenson once again. He's tripped up as soon as he crosses the line of scrimmage by Tevin Tomlinson.
Stevenson averaging a whopping 23 carries a game coming into tonight. He gets credit for 4 on that one. Already 5 for 32 as the Grizzly Cubs knocking on the door of the first score of the game.
Franklin Community has 2 receivers to the left. Olifield once again in the wishbone. Stevenson right behind him. And Stevenson once again goes. He'll be just shy of the 1 yard. So very close to getting the touchdown, but it'll be just shy. He'll be marked at the 1, so it'll be 3rd and goal.
Yeah, and if I were a betting man, I'd guess they give it to Stevenson here too, but who knows, maybe, they'll clamp down on him and somebody else will be wide open for the easy score. You never know.
We'll see what Franklin Community does here if they hand off to Stevenson once again to punch it in. 2 receivers to the left. Allfield under center. He'll hand off Stevenson, and he'll be in the touchdown. So very quickly, Franklin Community marches right down the field after the 4th down turnover by Plainfield, and they'll be in for the score.
Yeah, they made it look easy. 7 carries for Stevenson on the drive for 37 yards. And so nearly halfway into the quarter, and now on the extra point, let's see, we've got Justin Beasley.
He's 23 of 25 on PATs on the year. Snap is a little low, almost blocked, but it'll be up and in. So it'll be a 7-0 lead in favor of the Grizzly Cubs at the 6:04-minute mark of the first quarter. You're listening to AudioSportsOnline.com coverage of Plainfield varsity football. Talk a little bit about that defense up front for Plainfield. As we talked about in that 3-4, Matt Moeller, the 6'2", 220 junior, he has 21 tackles on the year for two of them for a loss. Bryce Biddle will be the main go-to man to try and slow down Stevenson at all right there at the nose tackle position. The 5'11 sophomore, 250 pounds, has 53 tackles, 5 for a loss, but he's also very active, has 2 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, and a sack to his name on the year. As we talked about, Roger Roy getting his first start on the right side. In that linebacker core, Coy Anderson will be out there, the 5'7", 170 junior. Seth Knuckles will be the inside linebacker, senior, 6'1", 200, 20 tackles to his name. Luke Miller, the 5'10", 175 senior, will be the will linebacker. And then Tevlin Tomlinson, the junior, 5'10", 205, has 65 tackles as the other outside linebacker. The cornerback will be Corey Bennett, 6'1", 155 sophomore. Dayton Clemens is the leading tackler. He's at the strong safety position, 5'11 senior, 185. He has 6'3 tackles to lead the team. Mark Dahm will be at the free safety, and then Tyler Maple, the freshman, will be the other cornerback. So once again, Justin Beasley on to kick it back to Maple and Clayton White. Kick is away high. fielded by Jacob Maple at the 10. He'll bring it out to the 20, 25. Tries to make a move as he crosses the 20, but got tripped up and ahead to about the 29 before he's finally brought down.
Well, let's see if they get something going here on their second offensive possession of the game. They did fairly well, got a couple of first downs the first time out, but turned the ball over on downs, which they've done quite a few times this year. And definitely don't want to go down by 2 scores, so they need to get something here.
2 receivers either side for Plainfield, Clayton White and Dante Keys. Nice wander under center. Hand off to Tristan Southwood straight ahead. He plows ahead across the 35 to about the 36. So it'll be second and call it 3, maybe 4.
Yeah, I hate to sound like a broken record, and I assume, at least some of you are old enough to know what a broken record is, but, Southwood, if he were on a strong rushing team, he would just be such a perfect supplement there at fullback.
Well, can we say scratch on CDs, or is that still too old school now?
Yeah, it might be.
Pass is completed to the right side to, I believe, Zach Archer. Check that. That's actually Gavin Ritter on the right side on the screen play for the first down from Nicewander. Gavin Ritter is a 5'10", 160 sophomore. That's he had 2 receptions on the year coming into this one for -5 yards, but that one goes down for some positive.
Yeah, it's good to see him move the chains again. Nicewander with his first completion of the game.
2 receivers bunch formation. Nicewander pitches it over to the left side for Dylan Foster. He gets ahead for a gain of 2, up ahead to about the 43.
So that's Foster's 3rd carry of the game. Yeah, they're giving him credit for, it looks like 2 there.
So 2nd and 8 at the Plainfield 43. 2 receivers near side for the Quakers. I formation once again. Nicewander throws a man in motion. That's Dante Keys. Now Nicewander will hand off to Dylan Foster. He tries to bounce out to the right side. Has good pursuit that time from Grizzly Cubs.
Got the first.
But he gets ahead to the first down on a nice stiff arm in the open field to slow down the Grizzly Cubs defense.
Yeah, it looked like they were going to bring him down, but he, ran all the way over to the right side and got a heck of a gain there. So they're giving him credit for 9.
So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Quakers. Ball will be placed at, I'm not going to say the 51 this time, 49-yard line of the Grizzly Cubs. I formation once again, 2 receivers near side. Franklin Community almost jumped. Nicewander on the hard count. Handoff once again. Goes to Foster. Bounces out on the cutback. And he'll get ahead for 6 before he's finally brought down by a host of Grizzly Cubs.
Yeah, it definitely, he's ready tonight. And, yeah, they're giving him credit for 5 there. So 5 for 23 so far for Dylan Foster.
So it'll be 2nd and call it 3. Near side formation once again. I formation with Nicewander under center. 2 receivers near side, I should say. Nicewander fakes the handoff, looks to throw. Looking downfield. Has a man wide open. That's Zach Archer. Zach Archer slows down to get it, and he'll be tackled close inside the 5. Archer's a little slow to get up. He had to slow down and really come back to get that one, and Archer still has not gotten up.
Got it. The last thing they need is another injury.
But Zach Archer was wide alone, but he had to really slow down to get it from Nicewander. We talked about it. Nicewander doesn't have the strongest arm downfield. Does have 3 16-plus yard passes on the year, but most of those have come from screen passes that have really broken for big gains.
Yeah, 2 by Maple, and then I don't remember who the other one was, but
one was actually the throw to Zach Archer at Greenwood for the big gain when in the closing minutes of that one.
Oh, right. Okay, but that wasn't a touchdown, though. Yeah,
no.
Yeah, that was the 45-yarder. I remember that as Zach Archer now being attended to, and they got the ball marked down around the 3.
So it's 3:32 left to go in the first quarter. As we talked about, big-time gain on the play action. It was run for the Quakers, and then Nicewander found Zach Archer in the open field. And you hate seeing this, but he's been down for a couple minutes now. But you look at it, it was a really, really nice play setup, but Nicewander really, the way he threw it, Zach Archer really had to slow down and come back to it.
Yeah, he was wide open, and so wide open that, it allowed for, necessary adjustments like that. Some passes some passes rely on the timing being perfect, but that he was so wide open that one didn't. And now Zach Archer leaving the field with the aid of two of the Plainfield personnel. Hopefully this is not serious. He seems to be walking. One thing, I don't notice him limping. I mean, he's groggy, but I don't notice him not able to put weight on one foot.
Yeah, he's being assisted off, but mostly underneath his own power, which is good to see.
Yeah, that's leaves us hopeful that it's not serious, but we'll see, of course. As Plainfield's knocking on the door of tying the score here.
3:32 left to go in the first. Plainfield has it first and goal on the 3. Jumbo set formation for Plainfield up front. Nice Wonder under center in the I formation. Motion man from left to right. Nice Wonder will hand off to Foster. He'll get ahead for a gain of 1, maybe 2.
Yeah, he's just down just short of the end zone, working on his second touchdown in as many games.
Dylan Foster, as we talked about in that Ron Colley game, provided a nice spark and continues to do so. Basically, the only game where he hasn't been able to really get the job done was that Greenwood game.
Yeah, he just didn't get a lot of opportunities then.
Formation in a jumbo set once again. This time Southwood on the carry. I think he might have got in. No indication yet from the refs. If he's short, it'll be very, very short. So
is that Southwood who got it?
Yes, it was Southwood on the carry, so he'll be inches short.
So that's 2 consecutive gains of 1 yard each for the Quakers offense.
You look at where they spotted that ball. It's if the ball only has to break the plane, they almost set it up to break the plane. We'll see if they try any kind of quarterback sneaks here with how close it is. I formation once again in the jumbo set on 3rd down. Nice Wonder hands off to Foster, and he'll be in for the touchdown.
Yes.
So Foster on the 1 yard, call it inches rush at the goal line in for the touchdown. So that'll bring the score to 7-6, pinning the PAT for Morgan Hagee.
Who's perfect on the season, by the way. Probably perfect for his career. I'm not sure about that, but I know he hasn't missed any this season.
Yeah, 7 of 7 on PAT attempts coming into this one for the 5'11", 150 senior. We talked about he's got a good leg, 7 of 8 on field goal attempts, including that long one that we saw in that 49-yarder.
Yep, and nearly hit.
He'll drill that one. So that'll bring the score to 7-7.
Well, I said when they started the drive they needed to get something, and they did. So no 2-possession deficit in the first quarter this time.
Well, let's go ahead and take a second to thank some more of our sponsors. Copyco Office Solutions, the local Xerox dealership. They sell and service copiers and printers and provide a wide variety of technology solutions, providing and supporting all your business technology needs. They're located at 2920 Fortune Circle West, Suite C. You can call 241-5800 or stop by Monday through Friday from 8 to 5.
Avon Dental Center has provided custom-made mouthguards to the football program for the 2nd consecutive year and are celebrating their 20th year in business. They are located at 7517, that's 7517 Beechwood Center Road, Suite 100 in Avon, and can be reached at 272-8100.
Stop by and visit American Family Insurance Duck Hawk Agency Incorporated at 704 North Carr Road in Plainfield. You can reach him at 839-9445. Stop in Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 to discuss your insurance needs.
Well, back here at Plainfield, we're set to kick off where your Quakers have just tied the Franklin Grizzly Cubs 7-7 on a 1 yard rush by Dylan Foster and an extra point by Morgan Hagee. Now Hagee set to kick off.
As you said, Hagee set to kick off. Chad Williams and Jacob Stevenson back to return. Hagee gets a good boot into this one. It'll be fielded at about the 15, bobbled by a few different Grizzly Cubs players before it's finally picked up and brought ahead to the 25 by, see if I can get a number on that, as is number 19. That would be Mark Nally on the return.
So it was 3 minutes and 58 seconds that the Quakers consumed on that game-tying drive. It's highlighted by that 40-yard pass from Colin Nicewander to Zach Archer that set up the touchdown rush by Foster.
Yeah, we talked about both these teams in desperate need of a win, and we're kind of seeing that so far here through the first quarter.
Yeah, neither team wants to go on a 5-game losing streak, especially with only 2 games after tonight to tune up for the playoffs.
2 receivers to the right, one of those is Welch seeing his first action tonight. Franklin Community in the wishbone formation once again. They fake the handoff up ahead before it's brought over on the the late option to number 5. That is Phoenix Campos, 5'8", 150. Very active player on this team for pretty much all 3 dimensions: offensive, defense, and special teams.
End up giving him credit for 4 in his first carry of the game.
So it'll be 2nd and 6 for Franklin Community. 2 receivers near side. Olifield once again under center in the wishbone. And off this time goes up ahead to Steven, or check that, fake to Stevenson, and once again Campos gets it on the motion. It'll be enough to move the chains. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Grizzly Cubs at the 40, call it the 44, closer to the 45, so let's just call it the 45.
Campos averaging just under 10 yards a carry. He had 10 on that one.
Talk about the amazing rushing averages that this team has.
Sensational.
2 receivers far side. Well, the handoff was supposed to be somewhere, but Olifield got sacked in the backfield on some great penetration that time by Roger Roy and Bryce Biddle. They really blew up that play for the negative loss.
Yeah, so Alfeld on his first rush of the game will get credit for -2.
I still don't like the way the college and high school does that, I'm telling you.
I know.
That shouldn't be a rush.
Yeah, it really does skew the statistics, that's for sure.
2 receivers far side for Franklin Community. Alfeld once again under center. This time it'll go ahead to Stevenson for a gain of 3. He's met by a host of Quakers, called a colony of Quakers. That's what we're going to call that.
Yep. And this is a crucial play for the Plainfield defense. They would love to put this Franklin team in 3rd and long. They are in 3rd and long, but they'd love to hold them to a punt here.
See if they run another play with 5 seconds now on the clock. 3, and they will not. So they'll walk off the field in the first quarter. At a 7-7 time, when we come back, it'll be 3rd and 7 to start the second quarter for the Grizzly Cubs. You're listening to AudioSportsOnline.com coverage of Plainfield varsity football. For more than 2 decades, Wicker Construction is engaged in building custom homes, remodeling, insurance repair, and handyman services while exceeding client expectations and delivering projects with professionalism and integrity. Wicker Construction works closely with you, the client, to understand your lifestyle and construction needs. Their services include insurance repairs and restoration, hailstorm and weather-related repairs, remodeling services, and new home construction. For more information, call Wicker Construction at 839-8353.
With Julia Berberich and Bud Green from Remax Centerstone, you can consider it sold. As a team, Julia and Bud have over 20 years of combined commercial and residential sales experience. Our team effort has brought many large-scale commercial projects to Plainfield, and Julia is a continued leader in residential sales across the county. Call Julia today at 317-754-5057. That's 317-754-5057. And let her make your next home purchase or selling experience as stress-free as possible.
Special thanks to the Niagara Bottling Company, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For more information on how they can get to work for you, please call 909-230-5000, extension 5912.
Well, back here at Franklin, we're set to start the second quarter with a tie game between your Plainfield Quakers and the host Franklin Grizzly Cubs. In the first quarter, we saw the star running back from each team with a touchdown, each from 1 yard out. Jacob Stevenson for the Grizzly Cubs and Dylan Foster for the Quakers.
It's funny you called Foster right off the bat a star running back. He's really starting to turn it up here as the season goes along. We talked about it after that Roncalli game. We wondered about his conditioning. Seems to be coming along, and Plainfield looks like if Franklin Community moved or Plainfield encroached, we'll have to wait and see.
Well, it's a disappointment for Plainfield. They had the Grizzly Cubs in 3rd and long. Now it's a much more makeable 3rd and 2, especially with this rushing attack.
Yeah, you said a 3 and 7 to 3rd and 2 with this rushing attack, averaging what they do each carry.
They average 6.6 yards a carry.
2 receivers near side. Olifield will slow it down after the motion from Torrance. Olifield resets, and we'll go back under center. Hand off to Stevenson. He's met.
Did they stop him? I think they stopped him.
He got just short. Bryce Biddle right there on the tackle had good penetration right off the bat. Got around Cole Edwards to make the play in the backfield to bring out 4th and 1. Now we'll have to see if the Grizzly Cubs will go for it.
Oh, no. Is Stevenson hurt? Yes, he's hurt. Oh, no. That is not good. And he's in pain. Boy, That is a devastating loss for if he has, if he's done for this game. That's a devastating loss for the Grizzly Cubs.
You said it. I mean, 5'9", 185 senior. Like we said, coming in this 139 rushes for over 1,000 yards, an 8-yard average, 18 touchdowns, and only 1 fumble.
He's the focal point of their offense for sure. 19 touchdowns, including the one tonight.
Well, we'll step away and see what happens when we come back. The Beacon Sign Company specializes in local high school sports and event signage needs. This is their 12th year of supporting the Red Pride football program. They are located at 9305 East U.S. Highway 36 in Avon. Call 272-2388 for all your signage needs, or stop by Monday through Friday from 9 to 6.
The Three Pints Brew Pub is an excellent place for great food. They offer craft drink selections brewed on site. It features a family-friendly atmosphere and would make a great destination for your next dining experience. They are located at 5020 Cambridge Way in Plainfield. For more information about menu and drink selections, call 829-1000. That's 829-1000. They're open on Sunday and Monday from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., Tuesday to Thursday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Friday and Saturday from 11 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. Well, back here at Plainfield, we have good news for the Franklin fans. We have Ryan Stevenson, who appeared to be in great pain when he was initially tackled, walking off the field groggily, but on his own power.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, Jacob Stevenson is the offensive focal point for this Grizzly Cubs team, so for him to be able to walk off the field under his own power, unassisted, is a very good sign for the Grizzly Cubs.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to give him credit for 1 yard on that carry, which is his smallest gain of the game, with the exception of his 1-yard touchdown rush.
Franklin Community will go for it on 4th and inches. 2 receivers near side. Olifield under center. Torrance is the motion man.
They got the first.
And they'll get ahead for the first on the rush by Tyler Frommer. Or check that. Was that Olifield on the quarterback keeper?
Yes, it was Olifield, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to see who was behind him, and I just missed it. Go ahead and mark that on my sheet. But Olifield did a good job on the quarterback sneak to get the first down, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Grizzly Cubs.
At the Plainfield 45.
So Frommer will stand behind him. He'll get the handoff from Olifield and get ahead for a gain of 4 before he's brought down.
So that's Ryan Torrance. Not sure if he's related to Jack, Wendy, and Danny.
I have so many rushing attacks from this Franklin Grizzly Cub.
So Torrance now with 17 yards on 2 carries.
Olifield once again will go under center in the wishbone. Campos, Frommer, both back there. Frommer will get it on the handoff, and he'll be pushed backwards by a dual tackle that time up front, including Bryce Biddle. We talked about how big Bryce Biddle is to this defense, and he got it done right there.
Not only to the defense, but he had for the offense a nice 10-yard rush last weekend for a touchdown.
2 receivers near side. Olifield once again under center. Pitch out goes to the left side for Ryan Torrance. In the open field, he'll get ahead to cross the 40 in Plainfield territory, close to the 43. There is some laundry down on the field.
We do have a flag, though.
Yeah, that's why I said laundry.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm not used to that one. I'm not sure how long that phrase has been around. I've been watching football 36 years. It's only been this year that I've caught on to it. So that's a big break for the Quakers, that it is against the Grizzly Cubs.
Well, see, I don't like flag football that much, so we'll see what the call is. They're asking Plainfield if they want to accept, so I'm guessing it's going to be in the realm of holding. And it is holding against Franklin Community, so that'll back them up.
Big break for the Quaker defense. They're trying to this is a testament to how much these two teams rush. I mean, this is only the 3rd possession total between the two teams of the game. We're already a couple of minutes into the second quarter. So trying to, show that they can stop this team from scoring, although certainly it helps that I believe Stevenson is still out of the game.
7-all tie here in the second quarter, 9:54 left to go in the second. And the Grizzly Cubs have it at third and call it 17.
Yeah.
And once again, a flag as trying to get set was Keaton Montgomery on the right side, and he encroached.
Yeah, so they get 5 of those yards back.
Just set up on the wrong side of the ball that time by Montgomery.
Still 3rd and 12, so still good position for the Quaker defense. Let's see if they can capitalize, especially with Stevenson still out.
2 receivers either side. Check that. 2 receivers to the right side. Handoff is straight ahead, but no gain that time by Frommer. So Franklin will punt it away. Austin Frankel will come in to punt. He has 8 punts on the year for a 34-yard average.
So no gain for Frommer on his second carry. His first one was -4. So now let's see. We got Coy Anderson back deep to receive for the Quakers.
Anderson on the year has 4 returns for about 5 yards.
Justin Beasley is Franklin's punter in addition to their kicker. And we got rain coming in.
And that one's close to being blocked, but Anderson they get it away. It'll roll out of bounds at about the 22, so that's where Plainfield will take possession. You talked about it. Rain now coming down here at Franklin Community.
Got a lot of umbrellas out now.
I don't know if I'd necessarily call it heavy. It's mistily heavy. Can we say that?
There's a heavy mist, yeah. So now the Quakers with the ball and a chance to take the lead here in the second quarter. Their first possession. Well, excuse me. This is their third possession of the game. I forgot they did have that punt by Hagee.
Clayton White and Dante Keys come near side for Niswander, who will go under center once they get the ball set. I formation. Maple, the motion man now, comes over to the right side. Handoff goes to Southwood straight ahead. He'll get ahead for maybe 1, possibly 2. Did a good job on the second effort to get a little bit more, so he might have gotten 3 out of it.
So Foster there for a short gain.
Southwood. Southwood.
Oh.
So 2 receivers near side as the rain continues to fall down a little bit heavy. Niswander will hand off this time to Foster. Bounce out to the right side. Great move in the open field. Gets across the 35. Flag comes down as he crosses the 30. Had a great move in the open field. We'll see what the flag is. So it'll be 2nd and 6. Or check that. We had the flag on the play, and it was holding on Plainfield, so that'll back them up even more, and we'll replay 2nd down.
Great effort by Foster, though. Nevertheless, a bad break for the Quakers when they are trying to take the lead. They have not. They did have the lead. They did have the lead at Greenwood a couple of years ago, a couple of weeks ago. But then didn't score in the second half. Last week it was obviously over by the end of the first quarter.
2 receivers near side, I formation for the Quakers. Niswander once again looks to throw. Has pressure, sets up the screen to Foster. Foster has some blocking ahead of him. Gets across the 25 before he's hit on the initial hit, and will get ahead to about the 27, maybe 28.
So nice job there by Foster with his first reception of the game.
So they got a lot of that chunk of yardage back from the flag, and it'll bring out 3rd and call it 4, maybe 5.
So Niswander has now completed his last 3 passes after going incomplete on his first.
That was a good screen setup, really and truly, when you look at it.
It was, yes. So I formation again, 2 receivers to the left.
Niswander sees the pressure as Franklin Community shows blitz. Hand off straight ahead to Southwood. He's on his feet, but he's not going to get anywhere. Niswander really didn't. The pressure was coming straight up the middle, so when you see that, to call the play to go right up the middle was interesting.
Yep. One score from college football. Louisville leading Syracuse 7-3 at the end of the first.
Good to see Bridgewater getting some good action for the Vikings this year. I was worried he wasn't going to be able to get much.
Yes, they give Southwood credit for -3 on that.
So on 4th down, Hagee will be on to punt it away to the Grizzly Cubs. Chad Williams back to return. And a rugby-style punt will take a Plainfield bounce to the Franklin community. Call it 44, maybe 43. Call it 44. So,
sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, disappointing 3-and-out for the Quakers. Their second punt out of 3 possessions of the game, but they are still tied nearly halfway through the second quarter. And, you don't ever want a player to get injured, but as long as Stevenson is out of the game, certainly that plays into Plainfield's favor.
I have not looked for him on the sidelines. Have you?
No, I'm doing that right now, though.
Well, Ryan Torrance now under center. I saw him a couple seconds ago taking snaps on the right side. He has on the option play, trying to get around, gets ahead for a gain of 4 before he's stopped.
So Williams runs around the right side.
Almost to the 50 is Torrance on the option play, kept it himself. I saw him taking a few snaps on the sideline. I didn't think he was actually serious about it, though.
Yeah, he's one of those runners who will, like Tommy Stevens, will run all around the field just to gain 5 yards if that's what it takes.
So
I guess they're giving him credit for 6 there.
Torrance once again will be in there at the quarterback position in the wishbone. 2 receivers near side. Torrance will hand off. Barely gets the handoff away.
They were ready for him that time.
Grizzly Cubs
Do they have it?
We'll see what happens. It did look to me like he was probably down, but there was give credit to the Quakers. They were right there to blow that play up, right there at the handoff from Torrance.
Yeah, and that was the first time they stopped him from gaining positive yardage all game.
So it'll be 3rd and 5 at the 50-yard line for the Grizzly Cubs.
Big play for the Plainfield defense.
And they fumble at that time on the snap.
Somebody's helmet came off too.
So Plainfield will take over on the fumble recovery. Give credit to Plainfield. Both times they just blew the play up right there at the point of attack. We talked about how small this Grizzly Cub team is up front on that offensive line.
Yeah, and, you got to be really encouraged if you're a Plainfield fan that you have a shot, especially the way that they run the clock. They have a shot to, run off most of the rest of these last almost 5 minutes of the half and go into the locker room with the lead.
Yeah, 4 minutes and 54 seconds left to go in the second.
Rain coming in heavier now.
Quakers have it. 1st and 10 on their own 49. Nice wander, and there's a fumble, and Grizzly Cubs pick it up, and they're going to run it all the way. Nice wander, fumbled it on the handoff, and all the way into the end zone that time for the touchdown is Stone Petticord. Or check that, that's Drew Utterback, the senior, 6 foot 195 on the fumble recovery for the touchdown. And just like that, it's a 13-7 lead for the Grizzly Cubs.
Devastating turn of events there for Plainfield when they had the ball with a chance to take the lead here late in the first half.
So Beasley on for the PAT, 23 of 25 coming into this one. Low snap, and they bobbled it, and they'll pick it up and try and run ahead with it is Ryan Torrance, who is the holder. So a little bit of a bobble on that snap, and as you said, with the rain coming down, we're seeing some mistakes being made with the football.
So as far as the rush, will that go down like this? How does that count as a stick? Okay. Okay. Does anything count in the rushing stats for Plainfield?
Yeah. We had a -7 on that.
Okay.
So he talked about it. Talked about it with the turn of events after that fumble recovery for the touchdown for the Grizzly Cubs. We're seeing a couple more fumbles from both these teams as the rain continues to fall. That could probably be part of the reason.
Yeah, certainly that does make the ball harder to handle. But disappointing result for the Quakers nevertheless. Still, 4:45 to go here in the second quarter. They have plenty of time, especially, with the combination of Maple and Foster, and to get to get some points. And remember, because the extra point was blocked, a touchdown and a Hagee extra point, and the Quakers are in the lead. So still, a lot of reason for optimism here.
Coy Anderson and Clayton White back deep to return for Plainfield as Justin Beasley set to kick it away.
So Beasley trying to recover from that blocked extra point there.
I don't know if you can't really blame Beasley. It was all on the hold. They just never could get the hold around.
And the first one was the first snap was low too. The first extra point.
And Anderson will pick it up at the 3 and bring it out past the 15 to the 20, and he'll be met at about the 23, 24. You can tell the wind's blowing. There's a little bit of trash now on the field. Right there at the line of scrimmage, really.
Yeah, there sure is. I can't tell what it is from.
Looks like a plastic cup would be my guess.
Well, JP, have you had a lot of experience commentating rain-drenched games?
The only game I remember being absolutely soaked was Wayne State up in Detroit. And I remember seeing Joik Bell, who's now in the NFL, run all over the UND defense that day in the rain. That's about the only one I remember. It was a very, very low-scoring game.
So Foster again.
So Foster on the carry will be met in the backfield for a loss of, call it, 2 before it's all said and done.
So what was the score of that one?
It was 6-0.
Okay, because I know UND's had some really low scores over the years. I remember there was one that was 7-3, there's one that was 6-5.
Well, I just remember Joik Bell in that one. That was something. He was something else. Heck of a player that year for Wayne State. 2 receivers near side, I formation for Niswander. Pitches it out to the right side for Foster. Foster trying to bounce it out to the outside, gets across the 30 before he's brought down that time by Campos on the tackle.
Yeah, Wayne State, by the way, also the alma mater of the late great Casey Kasem.
Now, we've talked about him on the show before. So it'll be 3rd and call it 3, maybe 4. They have 3rd and 4 on the scoreboard. To me, it looks closer to 3rd and 3.
Yeah.
2 receivers tight in formation. Niswander under center. Right, and they fumble the snap once again. Niswander just tries to fall on it. No flag, so it was really just a bobbled snap. So it'll bring out 4th down. Or check that, they do call a false start. So apparently they just called it without the flag.
Yeah, I didn't see a flag either.
There was no flag thrown.
It's the first time I ever recall seeing that.
So it'll be 3rd and... I have 12 marked, but it's only 3rd and 8.
Yeah,
and Plainfield will take a timeout. So.
Is it just me, or is the scoreboard operator, made some mistakes tonight?
Well, I wouldn't want the job. So it'll be 3rd and 8 when we come back from the timeout, as Coach Woodard wants to talk it over with his team. 2:58 left to go in the second quarter. Plainfield trails 13-7. Cary Digital is a full-service, state-of-the-art digital printing from business cards to banners. They've been a multi-year provider of senior posters at the south end of the field. Their address is 2701 Fortune Circle East in Indianapolis. They're open weekdays from 7 to 7. Call them directly at 317-227-0220 for more information.
If you're a business owner with or without employees, you're probably wondering about your payroll. What about taxes, child support, auditing, Social Security? It can be a bit overwhelming, but we've got the answer for you. The Payroll Department Incorporated. The Payroll Department Incorporated can help put your mind at ease where all these problems are concerned. Locally owned and operated for over 20 years, call today at 852-2568, that's 852-2568, or stop by the Payroll Department Incorporated, 701 North Green Street in Brownsburg.
We also want to thank our friends at Dugan Chevrolet, Dugan Sports Performance, and Jimmy Johns for sponsoring tonight's broadcast. Thank you for supporting Plainfield football.
Well, back here at Franklin, where it's 3rd down and 12, a very crucial 3rd down for your Quakers. They trailed the Grizzly Cubs 13-7 with 2:58 to go here in the second quarter.
2 receivers far side, and the Maple is the motion man. And that one's passed over the head, and it'll be out of bounds. So it'll be 4th down.
I'll tell you, I'm not even sure that I could be wrong. I wasn't even convinced that was a forward pass.
I don't
couldn't
think
tell
it was.
for sure.
It was laterally.
That very well. Sometimes that's counted as a rush, and that would have been a live ball if that had been ruled a rush. And
So-
the other broadcast crew seems to have the same thought.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, though, the weather's playing such a big part in this one. As slippery as it is.
Only Niswander's second completion, though, out of 5 passes.
So Hagee will be on to punt it. Good punt this time. It'll bounce, and Franklin Community will let it roll as it takes a favorable Plainfield bounce to about the 30, 34. So after the 40-yard punt from Hagee, Franklin Community will have it back with 2:43 left to go in the second. So if Franklin Community scores here, it'll put this Plainfield team in dire straits with the way they've gone today offensively with what's been done with the weather.
Well, certainly what Plainfield has to do now is try to keep the Grizzly Cubs from scoring the rest of the half, especially since the Grizzly Cubs get the ball first to start the second half. You don't want to go down by 2 or 3 possessions again.
2 receivers near side, and once again, the play, the Franklin Community will carry the ball. The carry was that time by Ryan Torrance. He'll get ahead for a gain of call at 3, and it'll bring out 2nd and 7 for the Grizzly Cubs.
Torrance now 5 for 26.
2 receivers near side. Torrance will stay in there at the quarterback position. And handoff will go straight ahead. Check that. And it's pitched, and that's a live ball. Plainfield recovers. Plainfield had to recover that one. The pitch was bobbled by Torrance. So that should be Plainfield football.
So Torrance, that'll go down as a 8 or 9 yard loss.
So apparently after the scrum, Franklin Community has the ball still.
Nevertheless, 3rd and 15, so it's a chance for the Quakers to get the ball back here.
So Torrance will stay in at quarterback. He'll go under center. Hand off straight ahead this time by Jacob Stevenson, who's back in the game.
It's good to see Stevenson back.
He'll get 2 yards on the carry. So it'll be 4th and 15 and force Franklin Community to punt it back.
And Plainfield has just taken their second timeout,
which is a smart move to stop the clock. 1:14 left to go in the second quarter. If you're Plainfield, you want to get the ball back with a chance to score.
Yeah, you definitely do, and of course you'd love it if you if there's a mishap on the snap here, and you get the chance to get the ball in an excellent field position.
Rain continues to come down in a heavy mist.
So Stevenson 1 yard on his comeback after being out for several plays with that injury.
Well, we want to say thanks to our friends at the Hendricks County Flyer that have helped make tonight's video webcast possible. Please check them out online as well as watch tonight's game at flyergroup.com.
Motion 360 by Hendricks Regional Health provides care for the way you were meant to move. We care for every muscle, bone, and joint in your body to get you back to the activities you love. Get more information online at mymotion360.org. That's mymotion360.org.
So Frankel on to punt it away for the Franklin Community team. Anderson back deep to return. And that was partially blocked. Plainfield will bobble it.
So the Quakers will have the ball inside the Franklin 30. Excellent chance here to get some points.
So Franklin Community, after the block punt, turns it over, and it'll be 1st and 10 for Plainfield in very, very deep enemy territory.
Yeah, put it at the 28, matching Dylan Foster's uniform number. Maybe that's an omen.
Well, Jacob Maple's in there instead of Dylan Foster, so maybe the 34 would have been preferable. 2 receivers near side for Plainfield. Nice Wander will go under center, and Maple will be in motion. Handoff goes to Southwood straight ahead. Check that. That's Foster. Foster's there on the carry. He'll plow ahead for a big gain, maybe 6. Call it 8. I'm going to call 2nd and 8.
Giving him credit for 7. He has 40 yards to lead the Quakers on the ground.
44 seconds left on the clock. 2 receivers either side. Nice Wander once again under center. Maple gets it, tries to cut it out to the right side, doesn't get anywhere, will be out of bounds, and that should stop the clock. And the clock's still rolling.
I couldn't tell if he made it out or not. It was way on the other side of the field, but they're hurrying up now.
2 receivers near side, Nice Wander under center. Pitches out to Jacob Maple.
They got the first down.
Check that, that's Dylan Foster. Gets ahead to the 15. And the clock stops.
So now it'll stop to move the chains. I think he'll spike it here so they can save the timeout.
So Nice Wander under center. Clock continues to move, and you're right, they just spike it. Save that timeout. They'll take one shot here for the end zone and then go for the field goal off after the timeout.
You think they'd go for the field goal in this kind of rain? I mean, because there's such a big chance of the snap not going through. I mean, they could, but
I think with Hagee's leg, they don't have to worry about it too much. You'd have more worry about the hold.
Oh yeah, I'm not thinking about Hagee. I'm just thinking about the snap, and the hold, of course.
10 seconds on the clock. 2 receivers either side. Nice Wander under center will throw. Lobs one to the end zone, and it's no good. So batted down that time by Franklin Community, and Alex Blackwell there playing good coverage. That leaves 5.9 seconds on the clock, and they'll send in the field goal unit.
Yeah, they might have a chance to get another pass and still have a second left over, but they're not going to take the chance, it looks like. So Colin Nicewander, the quarterback, the holder here. Ball State bound Morgan Hagee going for another field goal attempt.
That one's up and looks good.
Perfect.
So Plainfield will get the field goal to bring the score to 13-10 in favor of Franklin Community with 1 second on the clock. So basically we might have some kind of return, and that'll be it after the Morgan Hagee field goal. But at least you look at it from Plainfield's standpoint, they didn't have any errors on that final drive, and they were able to get points out of it.
Yeah, that's true. And, of course, Hagee is, any time Hagee's within 45 yards or so, he's just about automatic. And so I assume that Hagee will squib this ensuing kickoff, and the Quakers will settle for going into the locker room trailing only by 3, which is much better than last week. I think they were down by 38 last week. So, obviously, Plainfield playing a very good game, and they're going to make the Grizzly Cubs earn this win. And if the Quakers can stop the Grizzly Cubs from getting any points on the opening drive of the next half, then, they're going to be right in this game.
Well, you talked about it. I mean, with the rain falling down like it does, this Grizzly Cub team, despite the fact they rush the ball, it's not a standard rush. There's a lot of pitch-out options. And with the weather, we've seen a couple of errors being made on this Franklin Community team on those pitch-outs.
Yeah, and that's definitely going to play into the Quakers' favor. And plus, we don't know how healthy Stevenson is going to be the rest of this game as Hagee kicks deep.
Hagee, full kick to the 10-yard line, fielded and brought it back out. Crossing the 30 is Ryan Torrance, where he's finally pushed out of bounds. And that'll do it for the first half. The score at the half is 13-10 in favor of Franklin Community. We'll take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll recap that first half as well as the stats and the scoring plays. You're listening to AudioSportsOnline.com coverage of Franklin. I almost said Franklin Community. Plainfield Quaker Varsity football.
Well, back here at Franklin, where your Plainfield Quakers are involved in a barn burner of a game with the host Franklin Grizzly Cubs. At halftime, the Grizzly Cubs lead the Quakers 13-10. It's been a closely contested game throughout. The teams have never been separated by more than 7 points. Much of the second quarter was played in the rain. We still have a fairly heavy mist pouring. Hopefully it will ease up before the second half begins. Quick scoring recap with 6:04 to go in the first quarter. Jacob Stevenson, the Grizzly Cubs star running back, scored a touchdown on a 1-yard rush. Justin Beasley kicked the extra point, making the score 7-0. However, on their ensuing drive, Plainfield struck right back, and Dylan Foster scored a touchdown on a 1-yard rush. Morgan Hagee's extra point tied the game at 7. Then there was no scoring for nearly a full quarter until with 4:45 to go in the second quarter. Stone Petticord picked up a fumble and returned it 42 yards for the Grizzly Cubs. However, Beasley's extra point attempt was blocked, and then with 1.2 seconds to go in the half, Morgan Hagee connected on a 31-yard field goal, bringing us to our current score of 13-10. Looking at individual statistics for the Grizzly Cubs, Jacob Stevenson, who missed a big chunk of the second quarter with an injury, although he did return, 10 carries for 46 yards. Ryan Torrance, 6 carries for 18 yards. Phoenix Campos, 2 for 14. TJ Olafeld, 2 for -1. And Tyler Forner, 2 for -4. The Grizzly Cubs have attempted only one pass the whole game. That was by TJ Olafeld. It was completed to Chad Williams for 13 yards. For your Plainfield Quakers, Colin Nieswander has completed 3 of 7 passes for 52 yards. 3 Quakers have 1 reception each. Zach Archer for 40 yards, Dylan Foster for 7, and Gavin Ritter for 5. On the ground, Dylan Foster is the leading rusher. He has 12 carries for 47 yards, including 1 touchdown. Jacob Maple has 3 rushes for 16 yards. Tristan Southwood 4 for 9, and Colin Nieswander 1 for -7. Also a full slate of other games throughout the state. Let's look at some games of particular interest to Central Indiana. Avon leading Westfield 16-0 in the second. Carmel all over Ben Davis 17-0 in the second. Ben Davis has had some outstanding wins this year, and granted Carmel's a perennial power, but still I was expecting that game to be more competitive, although it's only the second quarter, so there's still plenty of time for it to turn around. Our XRB radio colleagues are calling a game up in Zionsville tonight with Brownsburg leading the host Eagles 3-0 in the first. Center Grove in a big MIC matchup all over Pike 28-6 in the second. Down in my territory in southern Indiana, Charlestown leading Corridon Central 7-0. Our neighbors to the west, Eastern Hancock all over Westdale 41-0 in the second quarter. Fishers leading Indianapolis Tech 14-0 in the second. Another MIC matchup, Warren Central leading Lawrence North 7-0 at the half. Got to give a lot of credit to Patrick Mallory. That Lawrence North program had really hit rock bottom, and he has some very competitive now with a perennial power. And then they did end into their 2-season losing streak earlier this year, by the way. They're very competitive when I saw them back week 2 up in Brownsburg. Also, Lebanon leading North Montgomery 6-0 in the second. Monrovia over Indianapolis Lutheran 16-13. Jeffersonville over New Albany 17-13. Mount Vernon over Newcastle 28-0. That's in the second. Back in the MIC, Lawrence Central leading North Central 10-0 in the second. Speedway, the Spark Plugs, I love seeing that name. They lead Park Tudor 14-6 at Park Tudor in the second. Up where my Uncle Bob and family used to live in Tipton, the Blue Devils are trailing 7-6 to host Sheridan, a perennial 1A power. I think they've won quite a few 1A state championships. West Lafayette trailing at Twin Lakes 8-6 in the first quarter. And Yorktown 7-0 at Greenfield Central. Of course, we'll be passing more scores on to you as they become available throughout the evening. But anyway, yeah, this has been a very exciting game here. And really, the Quakers came in probably underdogs, even though both teams entered on 4-game losing streaks. Franklin has had outstanding offense all year, although their defense has been shaky. However, the injury to Ryan Stevenson and the rain has played into the Quakers' favor because the Grizzly Cubs rely so much on the wishbone, which relies a lot of pitchbacks. That's it resulted in some bobbled snaps and fumbles tonight, which has helped the Quakers stay alive. Although on the flip side, the Grizzly Cubs did get a touchdown on a fumble return of their own. And now rejoined once again by my colleague J.P. Sinclair. So, J.P., what's your reaction to the first half we just had?
Well, I mean, coming into this one, I knew Franklin Community, they with their rushing attack, just so much yardage even on each and every single play. Plainfield's done a great job up front. Like, I think that's the first thing you have to look at.
Yes.
So, you look at that job that Bryce Biddle and Roger Roy. I think that was a good move by Woodard, starting Roy in this one, getting a little bit of size up front to slow down that rushing attack.
Yeah, and of course, certainly having Stevenson out of the mix for a big chunk of the half certainly helps. That definitely. When you have a wishbone offense like Franklin does, really the whole is greater than the sum of its individual parts. And when you take out a big piece like Stevenson, that throws the whole thing out of whack.
Well, speaking of throwing things out of whack, I was really surprised when Franklin Community changed up their quarterback. T.J. Allerfeld was doing, in my mind, a pretty solid job. You throw in a whole other quarterback and Ryan Torrance in there, and it really just, changes everything up for you from the cues to the way the offense runs.
Yeah, and of course, I don't know what Adam Reese's thinking was in doing that. Certainly, I'd love to hear his weekly show to figure out what the strategy was that. Or, who knows, maybe Allerfeld had some minor injury that we don't know about. But nevertheless, they did not function as well. And, of course, that also largely coincided with Stevenson being out of the game as well.
I think the other big factor coming in from the first quarter was just the miscues from both teams once the rain really started falling down. I mean, it's really not that bad. It's just a mess. But, I mean, it's just enough to make the ball on the playing field wet.
Yeah, and like I said, like I was saying while you were gone, and I think like you alluded to earlier, because the wishbone involves so much pitching back as opposed to bona fide handoffs, that makes it a lot more likely that you're going to have some mistakes and some bobbled and fumbled.
Yeah, and we saw that happen, particularly with Ryan Torrance when he was in there at quarterback, just not ready for what the pitching was going to be with the weather.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what they do in the second half. Nevertheless, it's very encouraging for the Quakers to be only 3 points behind. And when I saw how many great rushers that this Franklin team had, I was really concerned that it would be a repeat of Decatur Central last week because, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, Plainfield did a very good job containing Gallman and Skeel down there at Greenwood, but last week Decatur Central simply had too many weapons, and I thought that would be the case tonight. But like I said, the offense has just been out of sync with Torrance in a quarterback and with Stevenson out.
Yeah, I mean, the main difference between those 2 points, between Franklin Community and Decatur Central, they do run similar formations out of the backfield. The difference is Tommy Stevens throws down the field, and he uses that run to set up that pass so well. When you look at Franklin Community, they don't throw the ball. They're going to run. And, in a game like this, running tends to work, but at the same time, as we talked about, when you have further pitch outs and you're trying to do so much in the backfield, and the way that this Franklin Community offense is built up front, I mean, we talked about it. You look at it, 170, 220, 200, 190, 190. Only 2 of those guys are over 200 pounds on their offensive line. They're just not very big up front. And when you're going against guys like Bryce Biddle and Roger Roy, 250 and 315 pounds, they're just getting in the backfield constantly.
Yeah, and they've really been able to contain this offense. And so, if they can continue to do that, if the Plainfield defensive line continue to pound the Franklin offensive line, wear them down, that can really play into the Quaker favor as well in the second half and give them a chance to get out of here with their first win since late August. They're at Lucas Oil Stadium when they beat Danville.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Bryce Biddle, Roger Roy, and Matt Muller have all gotten into the backfield for some really, really nice hits in the backfield. They've really disrupted what Franklin Community is trying to do, even on their first handoff or their second handoff, or even when they're optioning it out. So I think the penetration's been really, really good from Plainfield, and I think their gap coverage, knowing exactly where that hole is going to be on that offensive line and filling it with somebody has been absolutely outstanding. When you look at what this Franklin Community team rushes on average for, Plainfield's done a really good job slowing them down.
That's right, and another factor to consider, coming into the night, Allerfeld had only thrown 49 passes all season. He threw only 1 tonight. It was completed to 13 yards, but Torrance has not thrown a pass all season. So, we don't even know what he's capable of through the air, if anything. So, if they don't even have an option to pass, then that's another thing that will play even further into Plainfield's favor.
Yeah, but talk about with the weather. If it continues to rain, you're not going to look to pass very much. I don't think either team will. You talked about being a barn burner. This one probably will be a barn burner down the last minute because these are both two teams that would much rather rush the ball rather than throw it. And both of them, if they do throw it, it's going to be short passes. You're not going to see anything intermediate or long downfield.
Not very likely, and of course, we don't know in the if and when the rain will stop during the game, but gosh, looking at across the field at Plainfield, I don't think we have more than a dozen fans over there right now. I think probably a lot of them are taking shelter. Hopefully, they won't go home. I wouldn't blame them if they did, but I hope they'll stick it out.
Well, when I went while you were doing the stats and the scoring, you go downstairs. There's a lot of room underneath the bleachers, and that's where a lot of the fans are seeking shelter from the rain.
Well, that's good, and of course, I'm glad that we see a lot of umbrellas here, and probably a lot of we see a lot of ponchos in the crowd as well. So, got 5 minutes left on the halftime clock now.
Well, let's go and take a quick timeout, and then when we come back, we'll get set for the second half.
Yeah,
you're listening to AudioSportsOnline.com coverage of Plainfield varsity football.
Well, back here at Franklin, where we're about to start the second half, with your Plainfield Quakers being very competitive against the host Franklin Grizzly Cubs. Franklin leads 13-10. It's a game that's been sloppy, played in the midst of fairly heavy rain, but the Quakers have kept their poise, and they've been within 7 points the whole way. They had a chance a couple of times in the first half to take the lead, and they entered the locker room with only a 3-point deficit, so certainly faring much better than last week, and with an excellent chance to get a win here and snap their 4-game losing streak.
Well, I think you said it right there, Alec. I mean, it's just an excellent chance for them to get off that losing snide. We talked about it coming into this game.
Yeah.
Both these teams are just so desperate for a win. Both these teams have lost their last 4. And, they've done a good job hanging with Franklin Community. We talked about that rushing attack and how vaunted it is. But, it's a good chance for Plainfield to play a good second half, something that they've struggled with in the last couple of weeks.
Yes, and now Morgan Hagee set to kick off. We've got we got back deep for the Grizzly Cubs. We have Chad Williams, and I can't tell who the player to the. So now Hagee goes deep, and it is fielded there. I believe that's Torrance who bobbles it, and it's into the end zone for a touchback, though.
Yeah, so, I mean, once again, Morgan Hagee been the touchback king on the year as 8 of them. Make that 9 on that one, so continues to hit it well deep into the end zone.
So that's why he's headed to play for Ball State. So now for the first offensive play of the quarter, now Ollefeld is back at quarterback, and now we've got over to the wide receiver to the left. We got Nick Welch, and we got now a handoff to Stevenson, who breaks through for about 6 or 7 yards. So that's a good start for Jacob Stevenson. I almost said Lance Stevenson there.
I'm going to miss him this year.
Yeah. So they give Stevenson credit for, looks like 6 yards there for 7. So now we've got now we got a handoff to Stevenson again, and he's got the first up the middle for they're giving him marking him down to the 31 or 32.
Well, see, if Stevenson is good to go, I mean, we talked about the bad hit he took early on, but if he's good to go, he's going to be the go-to option for this Franklin Community team because of the weather. We talked about you don't want to pitch the ball out with the weather like this. You want to try and run it straight ahead as much as you can and go north and south.
Yeah, and so now Ollefeld, calling a play. He's got another handoff to no, I think he kept it. I think that time Ollefeld kept it and maybe got 1 yard.
Yeah, once again, Roger Roy, we've said his name a lot tonight, the 6'1", 315 junior, once again getting in the backfield to disrupt the play. Ollefeld really never had a chance to hand that ball off.
Yeah, so they're giving Ollefeld credit for no gain, so that'll be 2nd and 10. And now Stevenson comes back into the game. And Ollefeld took some instructions at the sideline. So now we've got Stevenson in the backfield once again, and as well as, can't tell who else it is, but Ollefeld under center, and he hands off there to Stevenson again, who breaks through, and he keeps plowing his way up. Almost got to the first down. So whatever injury he had, he looked to be in immense pain there in the second quarter. He apparently has recovered now, so they're giving him credit there for 5 yards. So that'll bring up 2nd and 5 for the Grizzly Cubs. A touchdown will give them the first 2-possession lead that either team has had in this game. So now Ollefeld under center again. He's got 3 running backs. Hands off to Stevenson again. This time he gets maybe 2 or 3. He might get forward progress out to the 40.
Yeah, that was great penetration that time from Dayton Clemens. A strong safety for Plainfield. Really got in there at the point of attack and met Stevenson head on.
So, yeah, they're marking it just shy of the 40. So that will bring up, and it looks like they are going to, they're going to go for it here on 4th and 4 at the 39. So a risky play but they average almost 6.5 yards a carry on the season. And we got a fumble, I think, and the Quakers are saying they have it. So Jacob Stevenson, only his second fumble of the season. An excellent break for the Quakers. They're a Morgan Hagee field goal away from tying it and a touchdown away from taking the lead.
Yeah, once again, Roger Roy and Bryce Biddle right up the middle. Was able to meet during the handoff between Oliphant and Stevenson, and that's something we've seen over and over and over again tonight with that penetration between Biddle and Roy is just blowing up the backfield for Franklin Community.
Now, I formation wide receiver to both sides. Nice wonder under center, takes the ball. He hands off to Southwood, who gets a breakthrough. He gets inside the 20. So that's about a 20-yard gain there for Tristan Southwood. I believe that's his longest of the season. I'm not sure. But nevertheless, great play. And the Quakers get into the red zone for the second or third time tonight.
Yeah, it was a great effort that time by Southwood. Was able to really just bounce off would-be tacklers and get out for a big gain.
So now we've got White lined up to the right. Got I formation, nice one under center, takes the snap, hands off to Foster, who takes up the middle. He's got a hole, and he's almost got another first down. They're going to mark him down about the 11 or 12, so Dylan Foster continuing to have a very solid game, already a touchdown tonight, and they're marking him down for a gain of 8, so that'll be 2nd and 2 at the 11. That's 13 carries, 55 yards now for Dylan Foster.
And you really got to like the rushing attack from Plainfield. They've been able to really split the carries among Southwood, Maple, and Foster very well here early.
So Archer to the left, White to the right, I formation, handoff to Foster. He goes up the middle, and he's all the way in for the touchdown.
Great block.
Quakers lead.
That was a great block by Southwood, and Foster read it all the way. He saw where Franklin Community was and just ran to where they were not on the cutback. Just a beautiful touchdown and great blocking up front by Southwood.
So Dylan Foster, with 8:19 to go, has given the Quakers their first lead of the game. Now Morgan Hagee on the extra point. As the rain continues to fall. And Hagee perfect on the extra point and perfect on the season on extra points. So, with 8:19 to go in the third quarter, your Plainfield Quakers have opened up their first lead of the game, 17-13 over the host Franklin Grizzly Cubs. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors on AudioSportsOnline.com.
Established in 1882 as Harris Bank and owned by BMO Financial Group since 1984, BMO Harris Bank has grown to become one of the largest banks in the Midwest, serving personal, commercial, and affluent customers. They are located in Plainfield at 2609 East Main. For more information, call them at 839-3501.
Coffee Co. Office Solutions is a local Xerox dealership. We sell and service copiers and printers and provide a wide variety of technology solutions. Providing and supporting all of your business and technology needs, Coffee Co. is located at 2920 Fortune Circle West, Suite C. Call 241-5800, 241-5800, or stop by Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. Well, back here at Franklin, we're about to kick off where your Plainfield Quakers have their first lead of the game, 17-13 over host Franklin. Dylan Foster has scored 2 rushing touchdowns for the Quakers. Now Morgan Hagee kicks off, and we got Ryan Torrance fielded the ball near the end zone. He takes up to the 10, 15, 20, and he's brought down about the 23. So now the Grizzly Cubs and the Wishbone offense will try to get that lead back. 8:12 to go here in the third quarter. They have not adjusted well to the rain.
Yeah, I was really, really worried on that return that time. I thought Torrance had an alleyway straight over to the left side where there was absolutely nobody for the Quaker defense. But fortunately, Quaker was able to get the job done in the return game.
Yeah, so now the Grizzly Cubs break huddle. We've got Nally, wide receiver to the left. We got 3 running backs. We've got Olafeld under center. Hands off to Stevenson, and he gets just a little bit, maybe 1 or so.
And once again, it seemed like Olafeld was able to bobble the snap a little bit that time on the handoff to Stevenson. We'll see if they try and change up anything. I almost wonder if they'd be better off just going in a standard I formation than handing off to Stevenson.
Yeah, possibly, and it'll be interesting to see if Coach Reese makes any adjustments. They line up same formation. And now hand off to Campos, who moves over to the left, then drives forward and gains maybe 2. So now the Quakers defense, they've got the Grizzly Cubs backed up in 3rd and long.
Yeah, it was good motion that time from Campos coming around from the weak side. But when he took it over strong side, he just didn't have much room to work with on that right side.
So now, same formation again. And now he fumbles the snap, and I think the Grizzly Cubs got it back, but nevertheless, it looks like they'll be punting. So that was Ahlefeldt for, and they've had 4 or 5 mishaps tonight.
Yeah, but
already.
I mean, you got to give Plainfield credit. Roger Roy was once again there to disrupt that play.
Yes, he was, and they're going to mark him down for a loss of 1. And college ball, Louisville leading Syracuse 12-3 at the half, by the way. So now we've got Beasley back. His last punt was blocked. This one is nearly blocked. I think actually they got a piece of it. It goes down to about the 43 where it's downed, the 43 of Plainfield, of Franklin, that is. So the Quakers, again, have excellent field position. And believe it or not, they've got the ball. They're a touchdown away from a 2-possession lead.
Yeah, we haven't had the opportunity to say that very often here for Plainfield. As they're going to have a very short field.
And I apologize. That's Austin Frankel who's the punter. That was my mistake there. So I got used to Plainfield using both the Hagee for both the field goal and the punter, but I forget not every team does it. So now I formation again. Nice punter under center. And he pitches back to Foster, takes it around the left up to the 45, 40, 35, and he's inside the 35 to about the 34, so a gain of about 8 yards for Dylan Foster. Already 2 touchdowns tonight, 1 last week.
Well, if every team had a kicker like Hagee on their roster, they would be doing the punting and kicking duties.
Yes.
But a great run that time by Foster, great blocking up front. We talked about how this Franklin Community team offensively has a smaller offensive line. Defensively, they're not very big up front either. Their biggest player is only a sophomore, Jacob Lamping, at 5'9", 250.
So now I formation, 2 receivers to the left, nice one under center. Hands off this time to Southwood, who breaks a tackle, gets up inside the 30. He's got the first down. So Southwood got a 20-yard gain that helped set up that Foster touchdown on the last possession. This time he's got another 5 or so up the middle. And so they're going to move the chains again.
Yeah, it was a good job by Campos that time for Franklin Community getting there and slowing down Southwood, who would have had a much bigger gain.
So now White to the right, Archer to the left. And nice one under center. Hands off to Foster, who drives forward, then moves over to the left and plows forward for about 2 or 3.
Yeah, give credit to Zach Dowell in pursuit on that play. Foster made a good move in the open field, evading the first tackle, but Zach Dowell was really right there in pursuit.
So now Dylan Foster, 75 yards, closing in on a second consecutive 100-yard game. And now Archer and White both line up to the left. Now we've got Southwood, the fullback, and Foster, the halfback. So Nice Wonder takes the snap. This time gives it to Biddle. That was Biddle. That was Biddle with his first carry of the game.
Yeah.
So Bryce Biddle got a touchdown last week.
Biddle continuing, like you said, where he left off last week. He comes into this game 4 carries for 11 yards and that 1 touchdown that he got last week. And did a good job getting some nice gain right there to bring it to 3rd and short.
Yeah, he sure did. So they give him credit for 7 yards there. So nice follow-up to his 10-yarder last week. So now handoff to Biddle again. Gets a little bit, not much, but I think he did get the first. And now we're waiting for the signal, but they're marking it down at the 19, which is where he needed to get to. Maybe they're saying that he's an inch short. I don't know. Maybe they're going to do measurement here. Nevertheless, 4:21 to go, and yes, they are doing a measurement. So with 4:21 to go here in the third quarter, your Plainfield Quakers on their way to snapping a 4-game losing streak. They lead the host Franklin Grizzly Cubs 17-13.
Yeah, really unfavorable spot that time for Plainfield. I thought Bryce Biddle did a good job getting up the middle to where he needed to be. I did get pushed back, but I think Ford Progress was very close to that first down marker.
And he could have it. Let's see where they mark it. And if he doesn't have it, it's going to be within. No, he's got it.
Well, I thought a lot of Plainfield people stuck around. There's only about 50 up there now from about the 125 that were there to start the game.
Yeah, and they've got a few hundred here on the Franklin side. I think they had probably the neighborhood of 2,500 or so to start the game. I have seen a lot of headlights in the parking lot over there indicating a lot of people are leaving. But now we've got two receivers to the left. Nice one under center. And I believe, Southwood's back in the game. Pitch back to Foster. They've got him covered on the left, but he finds a hole anyway and gets up about 3 yards. So good job to Foster making something out of nothing as we tick under 4 minutes to go in the quarter.
Yeah, you said it. Foster having to make something out of nothing right there. Going towards the strong side where both the receivers were upfield blocking, there just wasn't that much going on. I would like to see him try and pull that one over to the weak side where the receivers aren't and pull a couple linemen out there in front over to that weak side. I think that would have been the better play.
Yeah, maybe they'll try that, later on. So now we've got Archer and White lined up to the right. We got Southwood the fullback, Foster the halfback. Nice runner under center. And he takes the snap, gives it to Southwood, who plows up the middle, and he's got about 4. He's inside the 15, so that'll bring up a 3rd and short with 3:18 to go. The Quakers knocking on the door of a 2-possession lead.
Franklin Community lined up that time in a very, very deep set. Really didn't really stack the box. I mean, we saw Decatur Central last week do nothing but stack the box against this Plainfield offense, but Franklin Community is playing a little bit soft up front. We'll see if that continues to be the way they go, particularly with Plainfield getting the job done on the ground.
So Southwood with another 5-yard gain, and now we've got Whites to the right, Archer to the left. And then once again, I formation with Foster, and we got a flag here.
Yeah, it's going to go against Franklin Community. They were offsides and jumped.
So that will give the Quakers yet another first down. And I'll tell you, I've been saying the last couple of games that if the Quakers had better rushing, that would open up a lot of holes for Southwood and make him much more effective. And sure enough, that's been the case tonight. He's been excellent, including that 20-yarder. So now we've got first and goal for the Quakers at the 7. We've got a timeout here. Timeout Franklin. So with 2:45 to go, and the Quakers with the 17-13 lead over Franklin and threatening to score another touchdown, we'll take a break for some words from our sponsors.
Rhodes and Kinsley LLP are CPAs and financial advisors in business since 1990. They handle individual and business tax and accounting work located at 8315 West 10th Street in Indianapolis. You can call 271-1040 to set up an appointment.
Avon Dental Center has provided custom-made mouthguards to the football program for the 2nd consecutive year and are celebrating their 20th year in business. They are located at 7517 Beechwood Center Road, Suite 100 in Avon, and can be reached at 272-8100.
Stop by and visit American Family Insurance Doug Hawk Agency Incorporated at 704 North Carr Road in Plainfield. You can reach them at 839-9445. Stop in Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 to discuss your insurance needs.
For more than 2 decades, Wicker Construction has engaged in building custom homes, remodeling, insurance repair, and handyman services while exceeding client expectations and delivering projects with professionalism and integrity. Wicker Construction works closely with you, the client, to understand your lifestyle and construction needs. Well, back here at Franklin, we're about to resume play with your Quakers first and goal at the 7. Archer and now, White moves over to the right. Handoff to Foster. He takes it up the middle, breaks a tackle. He gets close to the end zone. He's going to be brought down at about the 1.
Yeah, give credit to Munn. I thought Damon Munn really did a good job in penetration and getting in the backfield for Franklin Community to hit Foster at the point of attack, but at the same time, Foster was able to keep plowing ahead and get out for a big gain.
So first and goal now at the it says on the scoreboard the 2. It looks more like the 1, though. So now handoff to Southwood, and did he get in?
They're marking him in for the touchdown.
No, is that? Oh, sorry, that was Bryce Biddle. So Bryce Biddle with his 2nd touchdown in as many games, going in for looks like it's going to be officially a 2-yarder.
I wouldn't want to tackle him. 6 foot, 240. Are you kidding me?
So now Morgan Hagee back to attempt another extra point. And it is up, and it is good.
Yeah, Drew Utterback came around from the right side. I thought he was going to have an opportunity to make a play on the football, but Hickey's able to put it through. So Plainfield now has an 11-point lead, and I think that bodes well for them, given with how Franklin Community's really stalled on offense since the rain started coming down.
Yeah, and another thing to keep in mind is that, without, any significant passing offense, and relying on their rushing, even if they get a scoring drive here, they could easily run off 5 or 6 minutes in doing so and not leave them a whole lot of time to get the ball back and then get another score.
Yeah, we talked about coming into this game. Both these teams just love to run the ball. It's good football with them, and usually running the ball in this kind of wet weather bodes well for either team. But we've seen a lot more offensive miscues from Franklin Community with the bobbles and the bobbled snaps. And you got to give credit to Plainfield. I mean, they've done a good job getting into the backfield and disrupting what Franklin Community is trying to do offensively. And it's really worked well for them, and they've been able to turn defense into offense.
Yeah, they have. And, you got to give Coach Brian Woodard all the credit in the world. He stayed positive even through this losing streak. And now Morgan Hagee about to kick off. We've got Williams and Torrance back deep to receive. And now it's going to be very close to the end zone, fielded by Torrance at the 6. He brings it up to the 10, 15, 20. He's got a little hole up to the 25, out to the 26. And with 2:05 to go, now we'll get another look at the offense of the Grizzly Cubs. We'll see if they can get on track. I'll tell you, they've been contained all night. They did have a very solid first couple of drives. But one thing, that they have not gotten any huge gains. They haven't had like any 30 or 40-yard breakthroughs. So got to give Plainfield all the credit in the world. So now Ollefeld hands off to Stevenson. This time he's got a hole on the left side, and he's down to the 40, 45, 50, 45. One man to beat 40, and he trips up, and he's down at the 38. So that's the Jacob Stevenson that the crowd has been waiting to see all night.
Yeah,
He's got 37 yards there, his longest gain of the game.
A little bit of a zigzag move from Stevenson left a lot of defenders in the dust, but Dayton Clements did a good job in pursuit to try and slow it down and really slow down whatever momentum Stevenson had.
So now Stevenson over 100 yards on the game now, the game's leading rusher. So now we've got 3 running backs again, and this time we got a keeper by Ollefeld. He's got maybe 2 or 3. He might get forward progress out to the 34.
Yeah, and once again, you got to give credit up front for Bryce Biddle. Was able to once again get into the backfield and disrupt whatever they were going to try and do. I mean, when Bryce Biddle and Roger Roy are in the backfield at the start of the snap, it's really delayed whatever Ollefield's tried to do to hand off.
Yeah, and now we've got Lane Voris lined up to the left, and now we've got a fumble, and let's see who's got it. I cannot tell. Plainfield is claiming, of course, that they have it, but
well, why wouldn't you? That's what you call a monumentous and fortuitous game. For a Franklin Community, because they got closer to the first down marker.
So that was Dylan Byram, by the way, there on the recovery.
We'll see what happens here. It is 3rd and 3. Williams is in motion. He'll stop. Come back.
This is a big play here.
Yep. So now Ollefeld hands off to Stevenson again.
He got it.
Who's got about another 5. He does have the first down.
So with 33 seconds left to go in the third, I mean, once again, Franklin Community, if they score here, this game's not over by any
No,
stretch of
especially if they get a
imagination.
quick score. So that's another 5 yards there for Jacob Stevenson.
1st and 10 from the Quaker 25-yard line. Grizzly Cubs with the football as time is winding down here in quarter number 3. They trail by 11.
So now hand off to Stevenson. And he's pushes his way inside the 20. A lot of power that young man has. You can tell the Grizzly Cubs aren't conceding anything.
Yeah, I mean, that was all Stevenson. I mean, Tyler Hendricks was there pushing the pile, but there was about 6 Quakers on Stevenson. He was still moving the pile up ahead. That was just a run right there by Stevenson.
And that ends the third quarter. So we head to the fourth quarter with your Quakers with a 2-possession lead. And they lead the host Franklin Grizzly Cubs 24-13 on AudioSportsOnline.com.
With Julia Burbridge and Bud Green from Remax Centerstone, you can consider it sold. As a team, Julia and Bud have over 20 years of combined commercial and residential sales experience. Their team effort has brought many large-scale and commercial projects to Plainfield, and Julia is a continued leader in residential sales across the county. Call Julia today at 317-754-5057 and let her make your next home purchase or selling experience as stress-free as possible. Special thanks to the Niagara Bottling Company. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. For more information on how they can get to work for you, please call 909-230-5000, extension 5912.
The Beacon Sign Company specializes in local high school sports and event signage needs. This is their 12th year supporting the Red Pride football program. They are located at 9305 U.S. Highway 36 in Avon. Call 272-2388. That's 272-2388 for all your signage needs, or stop by Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Well, back here at Franklin, we're about to start the second half with your Plainfield Quakers holding on to a 24-13 lead over the host Grizzly Cubs. However, the Grizzly Cubs are not conceding defeat. They're down in the red zone, threatening to make this a one-possession game again with their dynamic wishbone offense. So now we've got the team getting set here. We've got three running backs as usual, and we've got Nally on the right, and Stevenson gets it again, and he's down inside the 5. So Jacob Stevenson having the breakthrough that this crowd has been waiting for all game.
Yeah, it was great blocking up front, and I don't think Plainfield was ready for the snap of that football. They were expecting a couple more, maybe more of a hard count that time with how they've been playing in the backfield all game long, and give credit to Franklin Petey. They found the Quakers asleep on that one.
So that's Stevenson now 20 carries, 128 yards. And so anyway, now Alfeld, now it's Stevenson who's into the end zone for a touchdown.
So just like that, this game's not over as Stevenson on the touchdown run makes it a one-possession game once again.
Well, the Grizzly Cubs have only attempted one two-point conversion on the season. Now it looks like they might go for another one to try to cut the lead to 3.
And this is where that missed PAT comes into play. They got to try and make that up somehow, and this is a good opportunity to do so.
Yeah, so let's see. So now we've got Nally to the right. We have another receiver to the left. We got 3 running backs. We got Stevenson and Torrance. And there's a fumble, and the Quakers got it, so the conversion fails.
Looked like they were trying the old Statue of Liberty play, just leave the ball where it is, and I think that they were going to try and pick it up and run in the end zone with it, but it just didn't work.
Yeah, but nevertheless, it is a one-possession game, so now the Quakers will have to do their part. The Quakers offense will need to, needs to get a score, and because the way, if the Quakers do not score on this drive and the Grizzly Cubs continue to do what they did on that drive, then they could be ahead and, just like that.
Yeah, this game's far from over. I mean, only a 5-point game with 11:44 left to go in the fourth quarter. I mean, both these teams have played a really, really good, solid game. I mean, you got to give credit. From what we've seen in Plainfield all year long, getting the job done defensively, and they've actually found some great offense here in this one. You'd hate to see them fall when they played such a solid game.
Yeah, you would, and not only that, but they lost. Remember, not only is Plainfield 1-5 and on a 4-game losing streak, they also lost their last 5 last week. So over the last 2 years, they've lost 10 of 11, and they really, when it gets, that'd be great if they could get 3 wins over these last 3 games, heading into these playoffs, and hope that they don't draw, Roncalli or Chittard.
I wouldn't want to play Chittard right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play Roncalli or Chittard ever in the playoffs, but we'll see.
Let's let them play each other.
Yes. So now Beasley with the kick. And we've got Corey Anderson receives at the 13 up to the 20, 25. Got some room around the 30, 35, 40, 45. And he's 50. And it looks like he's pushed out of bounds somewhere around the 50. I couldn't tell where he went out. So Corey Anderson with probably his longest return of the season.
Yeah, and that's exactly why Brian Woodard didn't want him rushing the ball Wants to see him do what he does in the return game and also defensively, and he got the job done right there.
Sure did. Into Grizzly Cub territory at the 49. And so now it's a nice one under center. We've got, I believe, Southwood and Foster in the I formation. We've got now Archer moving over to the left side. A handoff to Southwood, who plows his way up to about the 45. I'll tell you, Dylan Foster's excellent game has really opened a lot of doors tonight for, as they give Southwood credit for forward. That's opened so many doors tonight for Southwood. Now he's...
Yeah, you said it. When Franklin Community has to worry, particularly if they're playing man-to-man like they are, not just one player but also two players, and following exactly where the ball is, it makes it a lot harder.
So this time to Foster again. He's got a little bit of a hole up the middle. He gets up to about the 42, so that'll bring up 3rd and short. Dylan Foster, with a shot to get another 100 yards tonight. Another 100-yard game tonight. And that will bring up... they'll mark him down at the 42. Jacob Maple, only 3 carries tonight.
Yeah, we haven't seen much of him since the first series.
No, they haven't. So now we've got new receiver into the left, and now we've got a keeper there by Niswander, who gets inside the 40.
It'll be close.
It's going to be within a foot or so of the first down. It depends on the spot. I think they're going to mark it right
it's going
at
to be
the
just
40.
Shy.
Yeah, they're marking it right at the 40, so that's a 2-yard gain by Niswander.
I would not be surprised if they go for it here.
I wouldn't either.
They were in the same area earlier in the field, their first drive of the game, really, and they went for it. So
now we've got White out to the right. I believe Archer's to the left, and his quarterback sneak, and we got a flag here.
They moved. Plainfield moved early, and that'll back them up.
Well, a false start against the Quakers. So now it looks like they are going to punt after all, so they'll have Hagee try to pin the Grizzly Cubs deep in their own territory, but nevertheless they will be getting the ball back with a chance to take the lead.
Yeah, I think that's the safe play. You didn't get what you wanted there. You would have liked to try and go on a hard count and try and draw Franklin Community off sides, but that didn't work.
So now we've got a punt by Hagee, and over to the right side, and it's inside. It bounces inside the 15, takes a Plainfield bounce, and it's going to stop at about the 11.
Yeah, just shy of the 10-yard line. Morgan Hay does such a good job putting it inside the 20 and almost inside the 10 that time.
Yeah, so now the Grizzly Cubs will take over. A touchdown will put them in the lead. Keep in mind, by the way, that the Grizzly Cubs have only attempted 1 field goal on the season, which was a make. So, but field goal's obviously not a big part of their game plan, in sharp contrast to the Quakers. So now we've got 1 receiver at each side. Stevenson gets the ball again, and he plows forward past the 15.
Now you talked about 8-yard average. And Plainfield's held him to close to probably about a 3-yard average here tonight. So, that's excellent job when all things are said and done.
Yes. And Stevenson, he's averaged 23 carries on the season. Already has 22 tonight. They give him credit for 4 on that one. And this time we've got a keeper there by Ollefeld, who gets close to the 20. So that'll bring up 3rd and about 3.
Yeah, and good job by Knuckles. He read the play very well and waited for Ollefeld to come to him and didn't give him a chance to make a move in the open field. So great open field tackle that time by Knuckles, the 6'1", 200-pound senior.
So now 3rd and 3, a huge 3rd down for the Grizzly Cubs. So now we've got Stevenson, and now we've got, I think there was a fumble, and the Quakers say they have it.
And that football was picked up by Hunter Lyford that time there on the fumble recovery.
So that's So Ollefeld fumbles again, and fumbles are just killing the Grizzly Cubs. If they lose the game, that will be the number one.
Do you think Franklin Camille is going to work on that pitch out handoff next week from the center to the quarterback?
I believe they will. I mean, although obviously the rain has certainly been a factor.
Yeah, but I mean, if you just can't let it be that big of a factor. If you're a Franklin community, you got to do a better job on that exchange.
Yep. So now one receiver to each side, I formation. Give it to Foster. He runs around the right, finds a hole, gets inside the 15. And I'll tell you, I don't keep track of this statistic, but I'd like to know how many yards Dylan Foster has after contact this season.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure he has a lot. I mean, I give credit to Nicewander. I still thought Nicewander was throwing the ball. I didn't even think Foster had it. I mean, they went that way, but I thought it was going to be a play-action pass. So good handoff and good exchange between those two.
Dylan Foster, 20 for 90 so far, so same formation now. Nicewander under center. And pitches back to Foster. Takes it over to the left side and breaks her tackle. And he could go all the way in for the touchdown, but he's tripped up and brought down at about the 7. Does have the first down nevertheless.
That's what you call a shoestring tackle by Damon Munn. The 6'2", 180 senior was the last man to beat for Dylan Foster and just couldn't quite get around him and got him by the shoestrings.
Foster 98 yards now. He just needs 2 to get the 100 mark. And more importantly, the clock and the chains move once again. So now we've got Archer out to the left, White to the right, Southwood the fullback, and Foster the halfback. Nicewander takes a snap, gives it to Foster again. This time he gets up to about the 5. So that'll be 2nd and goal. And that should give, yes, they're marking it at the 5. So Foster now with an even 100 yards by my count.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a guy like Foster who's done such a majority of the work here tonight and gotten you this far towards the end zone, I like the call to let him try and get in there on the first couple of downs.
Yeah, and Nicewander, by the way, has not thrown a pass here in this half.
Well, with this weather.
Yeah, but they haven't needed it. So same formation again. So Nicewander now gives it this time to I believe that's Biddle. Yes, Biddle carries again. So they're going to give him credit for a gain of about.
This is a big play. I'd like to see a nice little screen pass. I'm starting to wonder if Maple might not be in 100% to be able to go since we haven't seen him this half, but I'd like to see Foster get the ball in the open field on a screen pass here.
Yeah, that'd be good, but nevertheless, 3rd and goal at the 3 for the Quakers, and we've got a Plainfield timeout, 5:55 to go. So we'll take this break for some words from our sponsors here on AudioSportsOnline.com with Plainfield leading 24-19 and threatening to score again.
The Three Pints Brew Pub is an excellent place for great food. They offer craft drink selections brewed on site, features a family-friendly atmosphere, and will make a great destination for your next dining experience. They're located at 5020 Cambridge Way in Plainfield. For more information about menu and drink selections, call 829-1000. Their hours of operation are Sunday and Monday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., Tuesday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 12:30.
Carey Digital is a full-service, state-of-the-art digital printing company offering everything from business cards to banners. They have been a multi-year provider of senior posters at the south end of the field. They're located at 2701 Fortune Circle East in Indianapolis. They're open weekdays from 7 to 7. Call them directly at 317-227-0220 for more information. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're about to resume play. Your Quakers are trying to put the final nail in the coffin here against the host Grizzly Cubs. It's a game in which the Grizzly Cubs have been hurt by the rain, running their wishbone offense. But now the same formation for the Quakers. Nicewander takes the ball, and he hands off to Dylan Foster, and he takes it all the way in for his 3rd touchdown of the game.
Is that really his 3rd?
Yes.
Scoring touchdown of the game
for
Dylan
yes.
Foster.
It
wow.
Is his 3rd, so Dylan Foster now, I have him 23 for 104, and that's 3 touchdowns now. This one coming with 5:51 to go in the 4th quarter.
Well, I wanted to see the screenplay that time from Dylan Foster, especially with the 3rd down play. But, hey, if it works, it works. Can't complain when it works.
Yes, and now Morgan Hagee trying to make it a perfect 4 for 4 and extra points, and he does. So 5:51 to go. Your Quakers look like they're on their way to breaking their 4-game losing streak. They open up a 31-19 lead over Franklin.
Gary Digital is a full-service, state-of-the-art digital printing from business cards to banners. They've been a multi-year provider of senior posters at the south end of the field. Their address is 2701 Fortune Circle East in Indianapolis. They're open weekdays, weekdays 7 to 7. Call them directly at 317-227-0220 for more information.
If you're a business owner with or without employees, you're probably wondering about your payroll. What about taxes, child support, auditing, Social Security? It can be a bit overwhelming, but we've got the answer for you. The Payroll Department Incorporated. The Payroll Department Incorporated can help put your mind at ease where all these problems are concerned. Locally owned and operated for over 20 years, call today at 852-2568. That's 852-2568. Or stop by the Payroll Department Incorporated, 701 North Green Street in Brownsburg. We also want to thank our friends at Dugan Chevrolet, Dugan Sports Performance, and Jimmy John's for sponsoring tonight's broadcast. Thank you for supporting Plainfield football. Well, back here at Plainfield, we're about to resume play with Morgan Hagee kicking off with the Quakers leading over the host Grizzly Cubs 31-19. He kicks a squib this time that's fielded just past the 30, or up to the 35. He takes it up the way to the 40, 45, 50, and breaks a tackle inside the 45. So excellent field position for the Grizzly Cubs, and they need it. They need 2 scores and fast. They have 5:42 to go.
Yeah, that was a great return that time by Utterback, getting good field position when the Grizzly Cubs needed some kind of momentum.
So they're marking it down at the 43. So let's see, you got some more scores there for us, JP?
Yeah, I was going to read some scores, but got an exciting game here, if nothing else.
So we got now, once again, we got Stevenson in the middle. We've got Torrance to the right. And that's Williams to the left. And now a handoff to Stevenson. He's well contained, but he does plow his way up for maybe 3.
Yeah, Avon leads Westfield 16-6. Carmel leads Ben Davis 30-7. That's the big one in my opinion. Zionsville leads Brownsburg 16-3. Center Grove dominating Pike 42-6.
So now same formation. We've got 2 receivers to the left. So Ollefeld hands off to Stevenson again. Again, he's contained. He might get forward progress out to the 38.
Yeah, once again, Roger Roy there on the stop. He's played very, very big in his first start of the season.
And they're marking him down between the 38 and the 39.
Cathedral leads Dwenger now 14-9. And speaking of my alma mater, I'm wearing their little windbreaker right here. They're losing badly to Lafayette Central Catholic 43-0.
LCC's a big powerhouse, though, at their level. They've won quite a few state championships. So now Stevenson, this time they give it over to Williams instead. And he gets about 10 yards. He drags 3 or 4 defenders with him. So I believe that's Chad Williams, who's barely carried tonight. He's been in most plays, and they give him credit for, I believe, 11 there.
Yeah, I felt sorry for Brad Wicker, the 5'11", 185 sophomore was there. Was just really being dragged upfield.
That's actually his first carry of the game. He did have a 13-yard reception, so now 1st and 10. And this time, Williams gets it again, but he's contained. He's brought down. He might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
Fishers leads Tech 21-0. Warren Central's dominating Lawrence North 24-7. No surprises there. Indianapolis Roncalli trails Martinsville by 2, 12-10 in the 4th.
And, of course, that's our opponent 2 weeks from tonight, Martinsville. So now Stevenson gets it again. And this time he gets up the middle for maybe 2. That'll bring up 3rd and long. But, more importantly, JP, the clock keeps on ticking.
Yeah, and when your dominant rushing team is in your Franklin community, that's not exactly what you want when you're down.
No, it's not. So now 3rd and 8, a very crucial play for the Franklin offense. Same formation. Give it to Stevenson again. This time, I believe he got up close to the 20, so it'll be 4th and maybe 3.
Speaking of their opponent next week, Whiteland and Mooresville. Whiteland's leading Mooresville 21-6 at last updated at the half.
Yes, and I'll have more words about Whiteland in just a moment. But now it's 4th and 4 in a crucial play for the Grizzly Cubs. If they don't convert this 4th down play, it is all but over. So now 6 on the play clock, by the way. So now 3, 2, and now he fakes the handoff, and he throws, and it's intended for Stevenson. But there was some miscommunication. It's incomplete. Only the second pass of the game. Now the Quakers take over on downs, and all they have to do is just run it down. They just have 2:46 to. What they just have to do now, no mistakes.
Southport and Terre Haute South tied at 7 in the second. Speedway up over Park Tudor 14-6, and the other one I'm interested in is the Western Boone Tri-West score in the second. Western Boone still leads 6-0.
I also want to give a big shout-out again to Harrison, coming off their 38-game losing streak. They've won 4 in a row now. Incredible. So what a dramatic turnaround. So now, I formation, one receiver out to the left. Nice wonder. Hands off to Foster again, and he's got about 5 up the middle, and the clock keeps on ticking. So Dylan Foster. And by the way, 2 timeouts for each team.
And that's exactly what's going to be taken. I mean, you got to figure Franklin Community is going to use those timeouts. That's exactly what they do.
So now, at this point, the Quakers are, and I'm not clear, by the way, as to who took that timeout. It seems to me it would be, okay.
The Grizzly Cubs.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it seemed like it would be a logical time for them to take it. And they're going to have to do a 3-and-out here.
They really need to force a turnover with only 2:40 left to go, and the score in such favor of Plainfield at 31-19. So I mean, if you're Franklin Community, you need kind of one of those offensive miscues that Franklin Community had earlier. You need a nice Swanner bobble on that snap.
Fumbles have just done the Grizzly Cubs in tonight, no question about it. And certainly, you got to be happy for Plainfield, though. So 2nd and 7 now. Same formation. Hand off to Foster. He gets a hole up the middle. He gets up to the 30. He's still on his feet. He is going to be brought down about a yard short of the first, maybe 2 short.
Yeah, Damon Munn wanted to take the low tackle, and that time just couldn't do it because of where Foster was. Had to tackle him up high and just couldn't bring him down.
So another timeout there for the Grizzly Cubs. And I do. Okay, now they've got it down to 1 on the scoreboard now. So this is going to be an absolutely crucial play for the Grizzly Cubs defense, because if he gets this first down, then it's all but over.
Yeah, at this point with the clock situation the way it is and the timeouts with Franklin Community and what they have left, it's pretty much a done deal. All you got to do is just get 1 yard. Game of inches, they say, you just need 1 yard.
Yep. So definitely, this would be a huge win for the Quakers. Next week they have Whiteland coming in. Whiteland has the extraordinary wide receiver Isaiah Calloway, being recruited by Ohio State among other Division I schools.
And they run a similar formation of Franklin Community, if I'm not mistaken, a wishbone variation.
Except that you got a world-class wide receiver to add to that mix. Isaiah Calloway, he's unquestionably the best wide receiver I've ever seen in my 3 years of commentary. So now, give it to Dylan Foster, and he's got the first down and more. He's up to about the 40. So that will go a long way towards sealing the deal for Plainfield. They're marking him down at the 39, so that will be a gain of 9 yards for Dylan Foster, bringing him up to 120.
I don't think the clock ever started.
You're right about that, yeah. So, let's see what they do about that.
Clock is rolling now, but during that play, that clock did not move, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they have adjusted it now, but... So let's see now. Hand off to Dylan Foster again. Why not? This time, well, I was about to say he was brought down, but no, he fought his way back for a slight gain with 1:51 to go now and counting.
Yeah, Damon Munn, I thought he would have learned last time. You can't go up high to hit Foster. You got to hit him in the legs. And that time, once again, went up high and didn't work for him.
So that's another yard to add to Foster's total. And the clock is showing, actually the scoreboard is showing the Grizzly Cubs with one timeout, but I'll tell you that there have been a lot of mistakes on the scoreboard operation tonight. So I honestly don't know how many timeouts they have left.
I don't think they have any.
I don't either. I assume that if they did, they would use it, but nevertheless, 2nd and 9. So now we've got 3 running backs there. Hand off to Foster again, and this time we got a whistle.
I didn't see anybody throw a flag, but they blew a whistle, and that's the second time I've seen it.
Yeah, there's some yellow over there.
So a false start. So that's a little bit of a break for the Grizzly Cubs, although probably not going to save their game.
I think some of the guys were actually watching the play clock rather than waiting for Nicewander to.
But obviously the Quakers being very conservative right now. And Nicewander's not thrown in the half. The rain, it's still raining, not as heavily though.
Yeah, it's just a very, very light mist now. Just enough to make our drive home unbearable.
Yeah, I hate those shiny roads at night. So now, a Nicewander, we got I formation, one receiver to the left. Foster gets it again, surprise, surprise. And this time he's stopped for maybe a gain of 1 or 2. As the clock hits the 1 minute mark. And they
should be the last play of the game right here.
Yeah, it's 20. They haven't even started the play clock yet. Yeah, they just did now. So yeah, just one more snap. They can just get in victory formation now. So I'll tell you, these last 4 games, all losses. The effort was there, but they didn't have the horses. They didn't have the luck, and this has got to be such a sweet win for these kids. As Foster gets it and he takes it up the middle. No, I'm sorry, that was Coy Anderson with his first rush of the game. So he gets.
So the Quakers get their second win of the season. They move up to 2-5.
So that should be at 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and victory. Your Quakers win. So. Great win for the Quakers. They moved to 2-5 on the season. Still 2 games to tune up for the playoffs. The Grizzly Cubs lose their 5th straight after that 2-0 start. And as the teams go through the handshake line, your final score here at Franklin, Plainfield 31, Franklin 19.
Well, I mean, we talked about it coming into this one. Both these teams were hungry and in need of a win. And give credit to both the teams. I mean, I really like this Franklin community team. I have for the last couple of years, and I like what they do offensively. I like that rushing attack from the wishbone. It's something you don't see very often, and most of the time it works really well. But with the weather tonight and the exchanges between center Cole Edwards and T.J. Ollefeld and also Ryan Torrance when he was in there, it really disrupted Franklin community's game. And give credit to Plainfield, they took advantage of it and capitalized.
Yeah, it was a game where, when the Quakers went down 7-0 early, I kept thinking about the last 4 games, but they kept their poise. They came down, and they tied it, almost immediately, and then they fell back again. Trailed only 13-10 at the half, but then really in the second half it was almost all Plainfield, and they never stopped believing in themselves. So they came out today, with good body language, believing they could win, and they did. And obviously a disappointing game for the Grizzly Cubs. When you run that kind of offense, this is not the kind of game that's conducive to it.
Yeah,
not the kind of weather conditions.
Yeah, like I said, the difference, to me at least, you got to give credit to Plainfield for getting in the backfield. Bryce Biddle and Roger Roy did a great job getting in and disrupting that offensive. Simple, really, quarterback-center exchange, but they did a good job disrupting that. But also, you look at it, like we talked about, those pitch-outs from Franklin community compared to the straight-ahead rushing attack of Plainfield, is a completely different game when you look at it in that viewpoint.
Yeah, and in addition, another big factor was Plainfield had excellent starting field position all game, and that made a huge difference as well. And then, of course, Dylan Foster, You know, it's been 3 weeks now since everybody in the press box there in that Roncalli game was asking who number 28 was, and now he has a second consecutive 100-yard rushing game, 4 touchdowns the last 2 weeks, including 3 tonight. You know, and I don't think you need to ask who my player of the game is tonight.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the scoring breakdown. You got that for us, Lex?
Of course, yeah. So to start off the game, 6:04 to go in the first quarter. Jacob Stevenson scores on a 1-yard rush. Justin Beasley's extra point made it 7-0. However, on the ensuing possession, Plainfield came back to tie it when Dylan Foster scored on a 1-yard rush, and Morgan Hagee's extra point made it 7-7. In the second quarter, a fumble resulted in a 42-yard touchdown return by Stone Petticord. However, the extra point was blocked, and Franklin at that point led 13-7. Then with 1.2 seconds to go in the half, Morgan Hagee kicked the only field goal by either team of the game, the only field goal attempted, in fact, cutting the Franklin lead to 13-10. Finally, with 8:19 to go in the third quarter, Dylan Foster gave the Quakers their first lead of the game on an 11-yard rush, and Hagee's extra point made it 17-13. With 2:10 to go in the quarter, Bryce Biddle scored his second touchdown in as many weeks, even though he's primarily a defensive player. He's had a 2-yard rush, and Hagee's extra point made it 24-13. The Grizzly Cubs threatened to get back in it on the first possession of the fourth quarter with Stevenson scoring his second touchdown of the game, this one on a 5-yard rush. However, the 2-point conversion rush failed, making the score 24-19 in favor of Plainfield. And finally, Dylan Foster scored his third touchdown of the game on a 3-yard rush with 5:51 to go. And Morgan Hagee's extra point brought us to our final score of the game of 31-19. For individual statistics, first of all, for the Franklin Grizzly Cubs, TJ Alfeld completed 1 of 2 passes for 13 yards. Chad Williams had the only reception for the Grizzly Cubs, obviously for 13 yards. Jacob Stevenson had 26 rushes for 148 yards and 2 touchdowns. Ryan Torrance had 6 rushes for 18 yards. Phoenix Campos 3 for 16. Chad Williams 2 for 11. TJ Alfeld 8 for 4. Tyler Former 2 for -4. And Dylan Byram had 1 for 5. For your victorious Plainfield Quakers, Colin Nieswander completed 3 of 7 passes for 52 yards. Zach Archer, Gavin Ritter, and Dylan Foster each had 1 reception. Archer for 40, Ritter for 5, and Foster for 7. In rushing, Dylan Foster had 27 rushes for 121 yards and 3 touchdowns. Tristan Southwood had 8 rushes for 43 yards, and then Bryce Biddle had 4 rushes for 11 yards and 1 touchdown. Jacob Maple had 3 rushes for 16 yards. Coy Anderson had 1 for 5, and Colin Nieswander had 2 for, or Colin Nieswander had 2 for -5. So, in conclusion, the Quakers get their first win since week 2 back in the RCA, not the RCA Dome, Lucas Oil Stadium, in which they beat Danville. In the ensuing 4 games, all against, they Roncalli and then 3 Mid-State Conference opponents. They played hard, but they struggled with a lot of injuries and had some bad breaks, but tonight it all came to a screeching halt. They played well from start to finish. They kept mistakes to a bare minimum, and they just thoroughly outplayed the home team tonight in front of their homecoming crowd.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about it. I mean, the weather played a factor for sure, but when you can't get that center to quarterback exchange down for Franklin Community in this weather, it really, you got to give credit. Plainfield capitalized on those mistakes. You talked about the field position battle. When you're getting those fumble recoveries in the short field, and with the rushing attack to Dylan Foster, and as you talked about, Tristan Southwood, and the holes that were open just simply by Foster being such a force in the running game, it really made a huge difference in this one. And I thought Nice Wonder did a good job. I mean, I've given him a lot of hard time this year just because he doesn't throw the ball downfield very well. But he also had that very, very long pass to Zach Archer, and, that really helped get them in that short field and get them that first score.
Yeah, it sure did. It was a 40-yard play. It did set up that, and of course, Archer, appeared to get hurt on the play, although he did, get up and coming back and play some more, and so. Definitely, the morale has got to be sky high. Like I said, everybody was talking about the 4-game losing streak, but they forgot, this is also a team that had lost 10 of 11 dating back to last season. So, with Isaiah Callaway, the sensational wide receiver, and Whiteland coming in next week, they needed this kind of momentum boost. And, to all you people listening, get out to the game if you can. We're supposed to have good weather, a high of 69, even though it's the next last game of the regular season. Isaiah Callaway will probably be the best wide receiver you've ever seen in high school football. He has sensational speed and sensational hands. I've called him twice, and he's lit it up both times. So he's going to be a handful for these Quakers to stop, but winning this game tonight was a good way to prepare for a tough opponent, and especially a superstar player next week.
Yeah, you talked about, I'm not going to have to ask you this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. You give me your player of the game.
Well, you got to say Dylan Foster, 3 touchdowns tonight. Another one last week. He had a second consecutive game over 100 yards rushing. And really, that was something, you go back to that loss to Roncalli and the loss to Mooresville, and they weren't able to get much going on the ground, and they've really found the answer. And, now if you can have Foster and Jacob Maple healthy together, and then, Southwood around for some short yardage situations, you can make a lot of noise on the ground, and that can really help these guys down the stretch and in the playoffs.
Well, I'm giving my player of the game to Roger Roy. I mean, he did a great job getting that first start of the season, and really was a 1-2 combo with Bryce Biddle, and was really a factor in getting into that backfield and slowing down that quarterback-center exchange that was such a trouble for the Franklin community. And you got to give credit to Plainfield; they were the ones that capitalized on it, and then a major part of that was Roger Roy. So that's who I'm going to give my player of the game to.
Yeah, and it was a real team effort though. And there's several guys you could justify giving the game ball to tonight, and of course Morgan Hagee was his usual self. And, Tristan Southwood really had his most productive game of the season. He was very effective and opened up some holes for Foster.
Well,
go ahead.
Up next for Plainfield High School, they'll be back in action at home Friday, October 10th against Whiteland. The Warriors are 3-3 on the year under head coach Darren Fisher, and like Franklin Community, they run a wishbone offense, and they like to rush the ball, but they have that wide receiver that you talked about.
Isaiah Callaway,
a big game changer for them.
Yeah, I first saw Callaway at Decatur Central 2 years ago. He was a sophomore, and I couldn't believe he was only a sophomore when I saw him, the way he was making catches. And I had never heard him going into that game, but he had 2 big touchdowns that night, and he lights it up all the time. And he's, I don't know who Whiteland's starting quarterback is this year, but they had very mediocre quarterbacks the last 2 years. So if you ever give him, there's a reason why Ohio State wants him. If they ever have, a first-rate quarterback throwing him the ball, that'll be, an unstoppable combination.
Well, that'll just about do it for the show here tonight. As we talked about, this team was able to get the job done and get the win. We want to thank you for listening to Plainfield Varsity Football, powered by AudioSportsOnline.com. This broadcast is brought to you by the Hendricks County Flyer, Rose and Kinsley LLP, Copyco Office Solutions, American Family Insurance, Doug Hawk Agency, and Wicker Construction, Julia Burbridge of Remax Centerstone, the Niagara Bottling Company, the Beacon Sign Company, 3 Pints Brew Hub, Kerry Digital, Jimmy John's, Dugan Chevrolet, Dugan Sports Performance, and the Coachman Restaurant and Lounge. From Franklin Community, the final score here in favor of the Plainfield Quakers, 31-19. For Lex Zorn, I'm J.P. Sinclair, wishing you a good night and a safe and happy weekend.
Good night.